or despite changes, despite new personnel and all that. So what do you actually want the offense decision-making and who they should go sign in free agency and who they should draft? Because it's kind of simple. Like, yes, do I think they need to find a wide receiver that can win in against man coverage? Absolutely. But I still think they should be building this offseason around how do they make the running game better. Now you have an OC that his biggest asset from a scheme standpoint is run game. That's Eric Bieniemy, a former running back.
Yep.
Running back coordinator in Chicago. Makes sense. And we all know part of being an explosive offense can come from your run game. So if you're asking, what do I want this offense to be? Not a running first offense. No. I want it, though, where you have a true complementary run game that has the potential to provide explosiveness. And so that dictates how I think your offseason has to go from a personnel standpoint. It means to me that you need to sign at least one of the top 4 running backs or so that are available in free agency. We've gone through the names. We can go through them again if you want. And then, if they want to draft one, sure. I don't think they need to draft Jeremiah Love, although you continue to see mock drafts that have that being the case.
I just like the way I view it, and I guess what I try to figure out is what style of offense do I want them to play? And I guess this is where I also still fight back a little bit from what they were offensively last year. And I know we'll break it down specifically more for Mahomes later. This might sound crazy to you. I still don't want them to be a run-first offense. Pass!
Right.
I want them to throw the football. They have Patrick Mahomes.
I don't think you have to worry about that.
No, I don't think that I have to worry about that either. They still ranked somewhere near the top of the league in run-pass ratio, I'm sure, without even looking at it. I'm guessing that they were somewhere in the top 10 of passing teams. Typically, it's a bunch of bad teams, and then the Chiefs and the other high-passing offenses somewhere near the top. The Chiefs were 6th in the NFL in run-pass ratio. Shockingly enough, the team at 7 was the Steelers. They threw the 7th most? The Pittsburgh Steelers?
But Aaron Rodgers' average depth of target was like 3.3 yards or something.
So essentially just a giant version of the running game. But it's all the other teams you would expect in the top 10, you know? It's the teams who were behind and had to throw a lot: Arizona, Cincinnati, Tennessee, Las Vegas. And then it's the team like the Chiefs who throw a lot, and Denver, who is a successful team, and then everyone else in the middle, like the Chargers and the Rams. And so I still want them, and will always want them, to be under Patrick Mahomes, a pass-first team. I do think this NFL offseason, they don't need to learn how to run under center. I actually think that's a little bit of a misnomer. I actually think they need to learn to pass under center. They're perfectly fine at running under center when they do it, but the reason why they're unable to pass under center is nobody believes them. And so they have got to get back to, and what I think would be my focus of the offseason for the offenses, can we bring back the play-action pass game under center? Not the RPO game, the like, hey, we might run, we might pass, and we believe you. Because what happened in the RPO game is they became predictable because they always threw. And when they ran it under, they ran it very similarly. And so...
Well, and again, there was no explosiveness coming out of the backfield, so you were not worried about getting burnt.
So, like, if it's not believable and nobody's going to believe it, well, then let's change up a little bit how the style of offense. I kind of want them to copy from McVay a little bit. You're going to have all these tight ends, run these big sets, run these play action sets, and confuse these teams, because I actually do still think Andy Reid can scheme people open to a point. And I don't think that their issues were always that nobody was open. I think there were some moments when they were open, but it didn't function inside their offense. And so I'd like them to copy some of that.
913-586-7965. Someone said, with Andy as a head coach, the run game you want is impossible. I'll push back on that. Again, it's not asking them to be run first. I don't think it's an impossible ask or unrealistic to suggest that a little bit of what Cody's saying, but going back to what I said, I guess, to start with the explosiveness, asking them to invest in the running back position to where there's a possibility of being explosive there. As much as you want to see a deep passing attack and explosiveness there, having a run game, not saying you have to run it technically any more than they did this year. Like, I'm not even asking really for the percentage to go all that higher than what it was this year, although at times I thought with the way the offense was constructed, that would have been better. But moving forward, they don't really have to increase the percentage of runs. It is that if you invest in that position, you should be more explosive with a better scheme. Hopefully Eric Bieniemy helps there a little bit. And
running backs have been better pretty much anywhere Eric Bieniemy's gone, so I'll give him credit there.
And if you just have more talent in the backfield. You know, I'm not saying they got to have Saquon Barkley back there, okay? But if they have the ability for a guy that can turn a 7-yard gain into a 30-yard gain, that changes everything for you. They had no ability of that happening in this offense last year. Some of that was scheme, no doubt. A lot of that was also just personnel, lack thereof, at the running back position. And then you mentioned tight ends. And that's another part of this. Like, if you're going to ask me, like, what I want to see or don't want to see, look, I think we all heard Travis Kelce speak yesterday on New Heights, and you got more and more of a feeling that he might be leaning toward coming back. I think that was a fair assessment by listening to what he said, and we'll find out his decision maybe in the next couple weeks. We'll see if he's coming back. But what I would also like to see, the offense cannot run through Travis Kelce.
Nope.
It cannot.
Haven't wanted that for a while.
And that would be a problem for them. And so was he putting up great numbers this past year? He was one of the top 5 tight end in football based on yardage or whatever, sure.
Yeah.
But if we're saying what do we want it to look like, I don't want him being like the second leading receiver necessarily on the team. Or if he is, then he better be second leading receiver, and there's multiple guys that are close to 1,000. Like, if you told me Travis
Who do you want it to run through?
Rashee Rice, I think it's still the answer.
I was about to say, or insert free agent wide receiver or traded wide receiver.
I think it's their best case scenario of how are they still the most effective version of themselves. It still involves Rashee Rice, who will be, battling for his career in terms of earnings. I mean, it's a contract year for Rice. I don't think anybody believes he's getting an extension. So it's a contract year for him. And I think the offense should run through him anyway, because I still believe he's the most talented wide receiver on the roster. I don't think it's close. So yeah, he would be my answer. And they could still draft a wide receiver. But even if you told me they drafted Carnell Tate at 9, the offense is not running through Carnell Tate rookie season.
Not in year one.
I mean,
not in year one. And so, like, that's the reality of it. I do want to say, like, for all the stuff we've talked about Eric Bieniemy, everywhere he's gone, running backs have performed better. Because at no point, other than, I would argue, Kareem Hunt's rookie year, have the Chiefs had a dynamic running back group. Under Andy Reid, they've had Spencer Ware, Sharkandrick West, Damian Williams. They've had just a bunch of jacks. Isn't that the point? And Eric Bieniemy was the running back coach for a number of those. They've been better in that area.
But isn't that the point? Like what you said, and then like somebody texted in and said, well, they haven't had that explosiveness in the backfield at any time during the dynasty. That's my point. You're asking me what I want to see from the offense. That's the point. I think in today's NFL, you better be explosive out of the backfield. I know that's not what they were when they won their rings, but this is 2026 now. It's not the same as 2022.
Does everybody understand what happened here? What happened in the NFL is when they started, and this was as a result of the Chiefs, when the league shifted to, we're going to play smaller, we're going to have our corners and safeties, tackle backs, and we're going to play light and free. That's what watch the Seattle Seahawks play defense this weekend. That's what modern NFL defenses have shifted to, and where they've been successful at is they will give up some in the running game to be an amoeba, to like move around and shift what they play defensively. But they don't play these big sets where they move people up. Everyone plays back. Everyone plays in nickel, which means there is more room, and it's why there's been a running back resurgence. So either you think the league is getting ready to shift again, and they shouldn't bother with running back, and they can just go back to the way they were doing it before, or they got to get their ass on the trend, and they need a dynamic running back to go with these other ones, right?
I just disagree with the notion of like, well, it's not needed clearly because they won doing it this way 5 years ago. I push back against that because, as you were saying, unless you think it's about to revert back. Right now, running backs are more valued now than they were 5 years ago.
And that's been over the last couple of years, and I still think we got a couple more years left of it. So I'm with you. I would be targeting those type of backs and outside of it. What's interesting about this is, and we can talk about if someone needs to be included, the Final Four set of this, because it's Jared Stidham, Sam Darnold, and what we think would probably be a retired Matthew Stafford. If he ended up winning the Super Bowl this year, he might be retired even if they don't.
Right.
He's getting towards the end of it. And then Drake May, who we can include in it. I once again found myself asking the question, because I think it's more than fair as we revisit these things. Who are these quarterbacks who are going to win titles? And we can include Mahomes in this, how many more he's got left as well. But because there's a new head coach, and I saw that the Bills are going to interview Udinski, so they might try to go find their Sean McVay, I guess. But they've already interviewed Dable and some other old heads, so we'll see. But Josh Allen getting a new head coach, Lamar Jackson getting a new head coach, and I'll just tell you right now, if Joe Burrow's team doesn't make the playoffs again this year, he'll be getting a new head coach next season. Hell, if they don't go kind of deep in the playoffs, I think they'll be getting a new head coach next season for Zach Taylor. Who do you think will win a ring between Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson? And I'll tell you right now, I still think Mahomes is getting another one. So we can just include him in the I think he's getting probably 2. Maybe it's because I just think he's great, and maybe I'm delusional. I still think Patrick Mahomes is getting a couple more Super Bowl rings. So the real question is, out of those 3, we still think someone's getting left out, right? Do we agree there? Someone of those three is not getting a
It
ring.
might even be 2 now.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not just
Because that's
one.
the problem. Yeah.
I've told you, I think Joe Burrow, and this is truly this is truly what I believe, is not to get Drew riled up, because I've said it for years now. I think Joe Burrow will be Dan Marino, a guy
Go
that
to the Super Bowl in the second year and
will
never
get back. And a lot of it has to do with Cincinnati, not even Joe Burrow himself.
It's a bad franchise, yeah.
I think he's going to get left out. I think he's going to continue to put up crazy numbers. Hopefully, for his sake, he stays healthy. That's the other element to this. Like, Dan Marino, for the most part, was actually fairly healthy in his career, but Joe Burrow has been to a Super Bowl. We all know that. Did not win. Hasn't been back since. Hasn't been in the playoffs all that much since. Some of it is his own injury. A lot of it is the organization. I think he gets left out.
Weirdly enough, I think it's Burrow that gets one. And I think it might be Allen and Jackson who get left out. And that probably surprises you, Drew, based on the stuff we said. The Cincinnati as a franchise holds me back the most. But when I was having this conversation in my head, I think what I kind of got stuck with, Gold, is how many years do I think I have left of peak athleticism? Like the style of play that they play now for Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I think it's 2 to 3 years for Jackson. I think it's 3 to 5 with Allen. So I think Josh Allen, because of the way he plays football and the way he can play football, the Cam Newton style of, I get to bully you around, I'm this type of player, I think he can only be an athlete, like the kind of athlete he is now, for 3 to 5 years. So I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have to get their ring really in the next 3. And it's like they're getting new head coaches. They're in difficult divisions. Drake May's already overtaken the East. Like, at least with Cincinnati, Joe Burrow's style of play is not aging. Now, look, I didn't say it was with Cincinnati he wins it either, in fairness. I'm just saying I think he gets a ring.
But as much as you bring up style for those quarterbacks, and I agree, the injury part is no different for me, I guess, on Burrow.
I mean, Lamar Jackson's also been hurt
right?
a
Like,
lot.
if we're going to talk about style play and all that, like then I'll use that same knock toward Joe Burrow, which is
because he has been.
It's not his style play, but for whatever reason, he can't stay healthy.
I mean, if anything, now that I'm looking at it, has Lamar Jackson? Now, when I look at the games played, I mean, technically, over the last 4 years, he's been healthier than Joe Burrow. It's not even about the health for me. Like, I'm not like pre-predicting an injury for Lamar Jackson or pre-predicting an injury for Josh Allen. What I'm saying is,
the way they play.
They need a certain amount of athleticism to play football the way they play football.
Sure.
Like, Patrick Mahomes runs, but so he's only got 5 years of doing it exactly the way. But in the end, his skill set will still age better than Lamar or than Allen.
Yeah, this is the first time in the NFL where we have 4 or 5 of these top tier quarterbacks that have played the way they do with more of a dual threat aspect than we've ever seen in the NFL before for 4 or 5. And so we all are guessing what we think is going to happen, right? That's the name of the game. But and I'm not even talking about the rings. I'm just saying, like, we don't know how any of these guys are going to progress with their skill set. We've never seen this many quarterbacks utilizing their legs as much as we currently have in the NFL. We don't know. Like, is Josh Allen going to fall off a cliff? Is he going to be just as good? Is Patrick Mahomes going to have to adapt? Like, we don't know, and that's what's really interesting about this conversation is we've never had this in the NFL with this many high-end quarterbacks that rely on more mobility than ever before. And so if I'm guessing who wins the Super Bowl or how many rings the rest of the way for these guys, I think Burrow gets struck out there. I think Josh Allen still gets one. I know, like, this week of all weeks, you might think it's the craziest take because they look like a mess. I don't care. I'll still think Josh Allen because I think he's the better quarterback. So that's Josh Allen, to me, will get a ring.
And you think Lamar gets left out?
I don't think Lamar gets one either.
So I think the reason why I think that Joe gets one and the Ravens and Bills don't is because we've seen both Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have teams that are Super Bowl type of like offensive line, defensive build.
They've had Super Bowl rosters
multiple times, and they have gotten they haven't gotten an appearance out of it. So what makes me think that they're going to be able to do it when the roster looks a little bit worse? When we saw what the Bills looked like this year when they had a little bit worse roster.
Fair.
I feel like that's what that I think is what toes the line for me in terms of where I am and where I am not with this conversation.
I think that's more than fair. I would only say, though, like, if I get I feel like I'm going to have more chances still. Like, at some point, like, I know with Josh, I'm going to get more chances.
More bites at the
them.
apple.
Like, half the battle is just getting in the dance. So that would be the only pushback. But otherwise, I agree. It's a little bit of like, it's only getting tougher financially and age and everything for all these guys. That's why it's so important that Mahomes already has 3 in his back pocket.
By the way, very similar to Mahomes, the guy who's still in the playoffs, Drake May. He ran for 450 yards this year, 421. He runs like Mahomes in the playoffs. Here's the problem. It's like his line, and Drew pointed this out before the show, His line currently is mirroring that exactly as Joe Burrow's and that of the guy you mentioned, Dan Marino. Second year in the league, got a great team. Let's say he gets to the Super Bowl, which they're favored to do, obviously. Gets to the Super Bowl and lose. It's the one thing where, like, we immediately like, man, Super Bowl in the second year, that guy's going to be there all the time. And it just ain't the way it works.
No, but I think you, and I think Drew would even admit this, Mike Vrabel I have way more confidence in because he got to an AFC title game with Ryan Tannehill as well than Zach Taylor following up what he did.
Are you already at the point, do you think Drake May will get a ring at some point? Like, would you already lock that in? Because, like, I'm asking because we included Allen and Lamar Jackson and Mahomes and Burrow in these conversations because we all thought it was a reasonable conversation to say they'll get a ring.
Yeah, now, I mean, time is on my side in a big way with this, so I'll say yes. So I'll say yes. You know, I'll say
17
I got a lot of years to, and I'm also one game away from him being in that game. So yeah, I'll say yes. Drake May does, knowing that I'm 2 wins away from it already happening. So yeah, I'll go ahead and say yes.
I'm just curious. I didn't know if you would already lock that in. Drew, would you? Do we think Drake May's going to win a Super Bowl?
Do we think it happens with all these guys' current teams, by the way? That's the other part of this. Like, maybe you think Josh Allen gets one. Maybe you think Lamar or Burrow. Do you think they get it with their team they're on right now?
Well, so Burrow, again, I think Cincinnati's one of the worst run franchises in the sport. They have no one who scouts. They got kind of an idiot for GM. I think they've got like an okay coach. I don't think Zach Taylor's an idiot, but it's kind of like Sean McDermott.
He's not a top 10 coach. Yeah, he's not considered to be. Yeah,
there's a limit to what Zach Taylor can do for him. I think what they have is one of the 5 best wide receivers in football, one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football. But I've watched a lot of teams squander that, like having 2 elite things at the same time and never overcome it. Now, I've also seen Peyton Manning kick the can around for a while and then eventually cash in his ticket. So I would guess Josh Allen is never going to not be a Bill, is my guess, unless it's deep into his career. I'd just be stunned. I don't even want to entertain a conversation about should Josh Allen ask to be traded. He just feels like a Bill. I don't know how else to say it other than that. He doesn't seem like the guy who'd ever betray the city of Buffalo rather than he'll just be a Bill for life. Lamar, I could see him ending up somewhere else at a stage in his career. But if he goes a new place, I feel like then he's getting a big contract, and they had to give up draft picks. It makes it hard to, like, make that happen. Burrow's the only one where I still feel like he's already talking like
he would be the most likely to either retire early or not be on the Bengals, you know, his whole career. I think as of right now, I think everybody would kind of agree. If there was any quarterback currently to not finish their career where they're at, he's the heavy favorite,
right?
He's the heavy favorite for it right now.
He goes to find a good, Stafford obviously never won one in Detroit, went to the Rams, won one, has a chance to win another one this year. Like, I can't rule out the fact that, one of these guys could find a home. Burrow feels more like that than any of the other guys on the list.
Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll talk about a team in the AFC West and how sustainable are they going to be in this division. Plus, something tells me we'll get into the Eagles and nobody wanting their offensive coordinator job right now. But there is something going on in Missouri later on today. Just want to pass it on. We've talked over the last couple weeks, and last week I think in particular, about one of the latest FBI investigations around sports wagering involving the Chinese Basketball League and then a couple of these smaller colleges. Well, the Missouri Gaming Commission today is expected to vote whether or not they are going to ban player props for college athletes. So right now, if you bet at Missouri, you cannot bet on Missouri teams. You cannot bet on a player to go over in points at Mizzou
or I can bet on Darren Peterson to go
St. Louis
under his number this weekend.
But you could do that. And there are 19 states that have some sort of restriction either on the in-state players or just flat out can't bet on college athletes' player props. And so Missouri today is going to vote on, at least the Gaming Commission will. This is not anything that has to do with the legislature or anything like that. So it'll actually probably get done. And they will vote whether or not they're going to wipe out player props for college players today. And look, I think this is where it's trending for a lot of states. The NCAA president requested this after the latest round of indictments that have come out. So this is probably something that feels like that could happen. Later on this afternoon, we'll keep an eye on it. But I was telling Bob and Dusty, because I was on with them earlier in the 9 o'clock hour, I don't know about you, Cody. I have maybe 4 or 5 times bet on a college player prop. It's just not a market that I actually find that all that interesting. Like, I love betting player props in the NFL. I like betting college sports, but individual players, like I have not bet a Darren Peterson over. I did not bet an over for any college player, even in the NCAA tournament. It's not a fun market for me. I also
but
think
it is for somebody.
I know.
get
I'm
it,
just saying for me. Yeah.
I would say it's less common for me. Certainly less common for me. So like I'm not going to be like, oh no, which version of it? But also like I do really think about the idea of the way that this works is they're going to have to put more guardrails in place, or the federal government will do it for them. Because if in like these predictive markets and all these other things,
that's completely separate.
No,
yeah,
I know,
yeah.
but like it's like they're going to get lumped in together, whether we know they're separate or not. In the sense that like publicly, people are going to be like, "That's out of control."
What's funny is the predictive markets are actually federally regulated already.
But like seemingly
but not regulated.
no guardrails. Yeah,
but
zero.
That's
guardrails.
a federal thing. Sports
None.
betting is state by state.
I think when we're talking about, even though they're paid like professionals, I do think just like mentally, the likelihood that you could convince a college player to throw a game seems a lot more likely than a professional who might be making tens of millions of dollars. So get rid of the props. It's fine. Like, I'm not going to throw a fit.
But what's weird, Cody, the latest
it,
round of FBI investigation last week.
I was pros.
That was not even that was not player props. That was just
Totals,
somebody flat out like not trying to win the basketball game, shaving a game allegedly. So yeah, this is interesting. We'll see if it happens during the show. I think this afternoon is when they're going to vote. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. But just wanted to pass that along for those that bet on Missouri. Maybe it is something you enjoy doing. The player props that is heading towards maybe being banned. And it won't be the last state if that's the case.
I think a lot of times, and it's just like, I don't know, let their brain fully develop. You're not like, till you're 23, your brain's not fully developed. Maybe don't let 19-year-olds have someone flash $30K in front of them so they can throw a basket. Like it's small. The one thing I would say
I know that. That already is illegal, so there's nothing they can do about that aspect.
No, I just meant like the temptation is if I can't bet on the player prop in the Missouri side anyway, well, then I'm less likely to have somebody who's offering me up the money. The other part is, we talked about this before when this very first started becoming legalized. The one thing you can definitely do is unders. Like, that seems like even if you want a half measure, stop the unders. Because controlling it over would be like, he can't control no matter how much you want to say, I'm scoring over 18 tonight. Other than I'm going to put up a lot of shots. There's still a coach and a game.
For sure.
And people who guard you.
Yeah, I can make sure I'm not scoring. I can make sure I don't have 10 rebounds.
I can Jonte this and be like, my eye hurts. Sorry, I can't get my assist tonight. Yep. Like, unders are the easy part, I guess, of that. That's all.
No doubt. All right, up next, let's talk about the AFC West, a team in this division, whether or not we think they are sustainable moving forward. Plus, nobody really wants that Eagles OC job. Who's next up, and what does it mean for the future of Jalen Hurts?
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well,
I'll take this one.
what? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
When winter's chill hits, trust Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. For a limited time, get up to $2,000 in instant savings on a new HVAC system from Hamilton. Our pros offer expert installation, flexible financing, and energy-efficient options that can help lower your energy bills. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. But don't wait. This is a limited time offer. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day, during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts? Well, it means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Maybe you think one of the home teams go down this weekend and it's an underdog that gets it done. How about you take a shot on other upsets, or you take a look at your favorite prop bet involving one of these quarterbacks to throw for 3 or more touchdowns? Then you apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep on rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local. That's FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture, and then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
You know, if you need something just to put you in a better mood immediately, just have someone bring a dog to the studio. That just happened during the break. Dana Wright from our sister station, 98.1, her dog, I think she just got a puppy.
It's like a brindle French bulldog puppy.
I was wondering, I was trying to figure out exactly what it was, yeah. And so she just brought the puppy by real quick. And that was nice for, right before we came back from break.
You could be the, most masculine man of all time, and everybody thinks you was gruff. And everyone will do the exact same voice that Alex and I both did, which is, oh, hi, puppy. Oh, little puppy. And you pat him, you're like, oh, you're such a good little puppy. We all do the same thing. Yeah. I don't care what level on the scale of masculinity
dogs
you
are
think
the
you
best,
are.
man. Dogs
just immediately do it.
Dogs are the best. They really are. So, anyway, that just happened. We should have had the camera on during that, but that would have been fun.
Get more followers, you know?
Yeah, we would. We
Tune
had dogs.
over to YouTube right now.
We had dogs.
There's a puppy.
We had dogs in studio.
Man, we had to do that again.
I think so. I just saw the folks from Wayside Waves
a couple days ago,
and they were in studio.
Why did we have
not
puppies?
in studio? But
it's been a tough Chiefs season. It would be a good off season for puppies.
Why did we have them in? I think we said, we were working with Vinny for an event,
right.
And that was a charity aspect to it, and I'm sure they would be glad to bring some puppies by for a fan club Friday again. Maybe we'll do that in the next month or so. I'm gonna have to reach out. That'd be nice. Get Drew a dog. Last time Drew said, I want one, but I can't do it. Here we are. It's been 2 years. Maybe now's the time.
Drew, have you guys talked about it some more?
I already have one. I'm not getting another dog. I'm not doing that to my current dog. Are you kidding me? Zoster, not happening. But Drew, it's right there for you, man. It's right there for you. All right, let's talk about the Denver Broncos, who will be playing in an AFC title game this weekend. And yes, Jared said I'm not Bo Nix. And we were asking what quarterbacks a second ago could maybe get rings. How about just as a team and sustainability? Do we think the Broncos will be a problem in this division for quite some time. And I think it's some of it is how much faith you have in Bo Nix. Fair, because defenses usually only are dominant for like a 2 or 3 year run, and then usually it shifts back. But I think Sean Payton has shown in a year in which they have still $30 million on the books of Russell Wilson's ridiculous contract. And yeah, they'll have to pay Bo Nix in about 2 years or whatever, and the numbers will kick in.
Right around the time they get done paying, Bo Nix, and of course, obviously, this season probably feels.
But I think the Broncos going to go on a divisional run and win 5 years in a row. No, I don't think anybody is right now with the way the AFC West is shaping up. I honestly don't think anybody, like if you had to predict, look, the Chiefs just got done with a ridiculous run. Only the Patriots had a better run in their division. So not to that, but I also don't think we're about to see a 4 or 5 year run. I don't know if it'll be the extreme of the East, the NFC East, where it was a different winner every year for 20 years. But so sustainable Broncos, yes. I just don't believe they're going to win the division for 5 years in a row.
To me, it's only sustainable in like a couple of smaller ways. And this is why, like, I'm not worried about them the way, if I were the Bills, I'd be like, damn, Drake May and Vrabel and the setup of that just looks like, in my opinion, the Patriots look more like they're in it for a long time, as in they could be a problem for a bit. The Broncos, and here's where my hesitation is of like for a while, right? Being like, for the next 5 years, the Broncos a massive problem. They're still a team, and I've talked about this all the time, built around defense before they're built around Bo Nix. So in order for them to be a problem for a long time, in my opinion, I still have to see what I think is a pretty good jump from Bo Nix. Since he's come into the league, no one, and this is statistically proven, I'm not just saying it, no one has had better protection than Bo Nix. He is the number one quarterback in time to throw in the league. He has more throwaways than anyone in the league. He's more careful with the ball than anyone in the league.
Yeah.
And you can get away with that, and that is sustainable to a point. If your protection holds up, if you still have one of the best defenses in the league and you can throw it away and rely on them to get the job done. So I think there's a couple of years where the Broncos are an issue here. But before I say more than 3 years that they're a problem, I'm going to need to see Bo Nix get a lot better or them continue to just like hit aces essentially in the draft department. And historically speaking, most teams don't do that. You have misses. You have 2-3 bad years in a row in the draft. And then, like we've talked about, you got to pay your quarterback, and they're going to eventually pay Bo Nix a ton of money.
I just think we're going to see a lot of
they at then?
changing of the guard off and on in the AFC West. I think the Broncos, maybe they win it back-to-back. Maybe they win it again next year. But I think whether it's the Chiefs getting back on top, whether it's the Chargers figuring it out because Mike McDaniel unlocks more from Justin Herbert. Because let's remember, the Chargers were not terribly far off from winning the division. We are talking about 2 games or so, whatever I think it was, this year in the injury situation. I know that's been the story of their franchise, but still, let's not act like the Chargers are like so far away from winning the division. And then the Raiders are the complete wild card. They're a long ways away, but could they get more competitive if they get the right quarterback and all that? So I just think we're going to see it, as I said, maybe not the NFC East, where it was every year a different winner up until this year. But I don't think we're going to see 4+ year runs over the next decade from any one team winning the division.
No, yeah, I don't. I kind of agree with you. Like, I don't think that it's going to go back and the Chiefs are going to be kings of it. I think the division's going to be tough for a little while. Because you and I both think, I was actually kind of impressed by the Chargers this year, and I think they could have made more noise had they not gotten, once again, devastated by injury. And so, because they got stuck in that spot, they kind of got stuck in no man's land again, is what it felt like. And so I don't even guarantee, like, I'm not even sure the Broncos, like, if they're a heavy favorite to win the division, mistake. I think it should be almost even money odds next year already that the Chiefs, Broncos, and Chargers win it. Like, I don't know that I'm leaning strongly one towards the other. Because again, at some point, and here's the problem with like having a great defense. If Nick Bonito, you got 2 great defensive linemen and Bo Nix, it's hard to pay all 3 of those guys. And you want to maintain this elite level offensive line, you can't pay everybody. So at some point, they're going to have to pay the piper. And I just think the second they pay Bo Nix, unless they can draft excellent, I'm not sure his game plays as well once the offensive line's not elite.
We'll see. As far as the divisional odds stuff, we'll have to see how the rest of the offseason plays out. But my guess would be the Broncos will be slight favorites, and then the Chiefs and Chargers will have very similar odds, and the Chiefs might be slightly behind them in the odds. Like I could see a scenario where the Broncos are plus 110, the Chargers are plus 150, and the Chiefs are plus 175 or 180 or something like that. I think it could be that jumbled. Maybe I'm way off, but that's my thought right now, not knowing what the rest of the offseason or the offseason, we haven't got to free agency yet, what that's going to look like.
Yeah, it is difficult. And again, at the moment, I feel like they're probably a pretty good. I think they're probably a pretty good organization because they made a good hire, found a good quarterback, have managed the cap well. Whatever the things you need to know, I think they've probably done overall a pretty nice job of managing those things. So, you got to think that they're going to continue to do. The other part is, and we asked this because we asked it with Andy Reid, so I'm more than allowed to ask it with Sean Payton. How long does he want to coach for? He just got back into the game, but he's 62 years old. So he's 5 years younger than Andy. So, we could probably safely assume he wants to coach at least 5 years. Otherwise, why get back in the game? Mm-hmm. But, you got to wonder, the longevity when it comes to that, too, because, they had some of these pieces in place before, some of these defensive players, some of these offensive players before, but had a, not good enough head coach. So that to do that.
So he signed a 5-year deal in 2023. So believe it or not, he's a year or so away from getting an extension, and he's making about $18 million a year, and he's one of the highest paid. So his contract goes through the 2027 season. In fact, he might get an extension this offseason.
We might hear it in the next couple.
If they get eliminated, or if they get to the Super Bowl, they might announce it the day before the Super Bowl. You know how that plays out sometimes.
It's coming one way or the other is the realistic thing. Just because we know that they're going to pay him, and if he wants to keep coaching, he's going to keep coaching. And again, Sean Payton only got back in the game a couple of years ago. His run was very funny. He came into town. He inherited Russell Wilson, and he tried to run his ass out of town as fast.
Definitely not his guy.
And
he was right
as he could.
I was saying he was correct. You may have questioned how he handled it and all that, but that was not his guy, and he knew it, and he knew he couldn't win with him, and they bailed, and they're still paying Russ this year, and he went out and got Bo Nix, and considering where they were drafting, it's turned out pretty darn well for them.
Yeah, I can't.
They're a win away from the Super Bowl. Now, it's going to be very difficult for them to win, but they are a win away.
Jared Stidham. That'd be a stunning upset, in my opinion.
It would. I think the Broncos might cover, though. I think they might cover.
What's the line?
Down to
5.5,
4.
6?
It's down to 4.5.
Oh, interesting.
All right, that is a mock draft sounder. The latest
I'll respect
one.
the sounder.
We've got
somebody on the text line's already asking, Drew, from
That's
the 785. What are the chances the Chiefs trade the number 9 pick to the Jets?
I don't know. We've got
at 16 for the 33rd pick and a swap for 40 and 44.
Hey,
that is so specific. I can't even begin to tell you.
This person's thought about that. But they've thought about that.
Very specific. I don't know.
If you are watching on video, you'll see that Tommy Shelby is delivering the mock draft for us today.
Should I do it
Drew just got a brand new cut, and he's got the whole Peaky Blinders look going on today.
Yeah, I got it slicked back again. Okay.
What made you switch it up?
Huh?
Let's get into the haircut. What made you switch it up?
I do this every now and then, where I instead of it being the comb over, which a lot of times, so I have a cowlick that'll grow in the back too.
Yeah.
When I slick it back, it just covers the cowlick up real nice, so I can let it the hair grow.
Peaky
Anyways,
Blinders, big fan.
So this year, or this mock draft is going to be a little bit different, and what I mean by that is we're not doing a mock draft.
Huh?
So there was a mock draft that was done, and I don't know if Chiefs fans have come across this, but a potential worst case scenario, what would you do in this
this is
situation?
A choose our own adventure mock draft?
This is what would you do in this situation if these were the first 8 picks in the NFL draft and the Chiefs were at 9? You get Mendoza at 1, Arvo Reese at 2 to the Jets, Jeremiah Love goes 3 to the Cardinals, Caleb Downs to the Titans at 4, and then it's David Bailey, Reuben Bain, Jordan Tyson, and Carnell Tate. So the top 2 wide receivers, top 2 pass rushers, Downs and Love are gone. You're the Chiefs at 9. Do you take Peter Woods? Do you look at Mekhi Lemon? Do you trade back?
Yeah.
It seems like the comments also were very mixed with this as well.
First instinct, knowing the names that we all would have been interested in are off the board, including...
They're all gone, basically.
I mean, literally, even Caleb Downs is off the board. So first instinct is trade down. But to me, it's a bit of a cop-out by saying that, though, because... We that requires a trade partner, and what does that look like? But yes, I would. If there was a trade to be had, I think I would be trying. I'd be on the phone, seeing if anybody wants to trade up. That would be my first instinct. If I'm not allowed to trade down in this scenario, then I think it would be the interior defensive lineman. We go Peter Woods.
I think I'd either take Lemon or I'd take Woods.
Lemon's too short. I'm sick of the 6'9", 5'11".
I was gonna say,
I'm done with that crap.
I just mostly it's like I've been watching more and looking up more on Lemon because I feel like he is a realistic possibility in the first round for them.
For sure.
In case Carnell Tate and the other guys, that you like are gone. Because in that case, obviously, you're mentioning Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate, the tall guys, are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've seen some of the some of the advanced numbers on Lemon support that he is open all the time. And
he is a very good route runner.
And a very complete wide receiver. They're not just drafting it's not the normal 5'11" guy they're taking, which like he can jump through a roof and run a 4-second 40.
He will route you up.
Like,
basically.
yeah, he's just like he's like a skilled guy. Peter Woods could also interest me, certainly. But I'll tell you right now, and this might just be because of what Steve Palazzolo had said, and then I was reading some more draft stuff because you and I are trying to get to Pittsburgh for the draft, and we understand that the Chiefs draft pick at 9 is a lot different than all the other ones we've covered recently. So I've been paying more attention to it. I think it is a weak first round. As in, I don't think it's going to go. I don't think most teams are going to say, I have 18 first round grades. I think they're going to say, I have 10. If you got 10 first round grades on guys, I'm not sure why you trade down. That's kind of like I don't want to trade up or down. I kind of just want them to pick at 9. And that's not normally my stance on it. But I kind of want them to just make the selection at number 9.
Lemon just if it wasn't the Chiefs, I think I would probably be saying Lemon. Lemon just scares me a bit given
the height. I get it, man.
The height and the track record and the frustration with that. But I will say, if this was the board and it's possible out of the first day, like someone's saying, take Love again, and this is a hypothetical. He's already off the board at 3.
Yeah,
Downs is already off the board at 4.
Choose our own adventure.
David Bailey's already off the board at 5. Ruben Bain's already off the board at 6. Carnell Tate's off the board at 8. In that scenario, who are you taking? And that's why this is an interesting exercise.
How about this name? One that we have not had mentioned. Spencer Fano from Utah, offensive tackle. The dude is, I think, pound for pound, considered the best tackle in the class.
He's expected to go higher than that, I guess, which is surprising.
So I think that was the
am I
interesting
running
part of
Jalen
this
Moore
scenario.
into town?
There's been a lot of mocks that have had him going in the top 5. If he's at 9 and all those guys are gone, do you take tackle and solidify the right you would have the offensive line solidified for the future. I would stay away from it personally, but I do think Spencer Fano is an interesting one where he is a very, very good and highly regarded offensive tackle.
Definitely something to be said to this in your mind, lock up left and right side. But man, you just spent a first round pick last year on left tackle. With the year before, you spent a high pick on what you thought was your left tackle, and Kingsley is now your guard. Like another year, like that was the whole benefit of finally figuring out left tackle, is that you can stop putting resources in to the offensive line, which I understand. You're like, well, the O-line wasn't good last year. When they were healthy, they were actually just fine. So I am not in the camp at all of wanting them to spend a top pick on an offensive lineman. They will use one on an offensive lineman. That's totally fine. They want to use their second or third or fourth round pick on one. Fine. I don't want them spending the year they get a top 10 pick. Maybe the only time in Mahomes' career they're going to have a top 10 pick, and they're going to spend it on a tackle, which they just spent one on a tackle the year before.
Crazy is if you'd said this 12 months ago, we'd all sign up for tackle at 9.
Sure.
Because of all the conversations we
Josh
had.
Simmons will be fine at left tackle.
Yeah, you can't get elite level tackles easily at the place the Chiefs traditionally pick, but they might have found one. And so, a lot of it comes down to the Chiefs' confidence in this. Like, not my own even. If they have any concerns over Simmons, I'll listen to it. Like, if they think that the reason why he was away familially or whatever it is could come back up.
Yeah.
Or they think that the injuries could be a problem, whatever. If they have some reservation, I could be talked into it at 9. But if they're convinced he's a dude and the way they talk is he's a dude, then no, I'm not interested in tackle at 9.
I think football-wise, Josh Simmons is going to be just fine. I don't think we have to. I think from a play on-field performance and whether or not what happened this year ends up being, I don't think that's something that we're going to be talking about moving forward. I think this will be the year that we discuss that.
I think Peter Woods is the interesting one, where I think if I had to pick, if I had to pick at 9, given this scenario, I would take Peter Woods because, and Cody and I were talking about this before the show, if you pair him up with Chris Jones, it gives Peter Woods an opportunity to continue to develop and just reach that and show off some of the elite traits that he has.
Pass rush isn't just from the
showcased at Clemson, where Chris Jones is still going to get the attention. But I think, Cody, I don't remember the stat, but you were mentioning the best interior pass rushing duos or combinations in the league were the 4 teams that are left in this year's playoffs. So getting a guy that can go along with Chris Jones in the interior, great in the run, and can definitely do his thing in the pass, is a guy that I would want.
That is exactly the stat. It's from Kevin Clark, so we'll give him credit. The Broncos got the most pressures in the NFL from their starting defensive tackle duo. The Seahawks were second, the Rams were third, the Patriots were fourth. So, bit of a trend there, Gold. It turns out that interior pass rush, and this is the thing we talk about all the time, edge is flashy, edge is fun, and so we talk a lot about edge and getting pressure from the edge. The Chiefs need help from the interior, too. the guy next to Chris Jones did not deserve their check collectively this year. But that's also because they pulled Mike Pennell off the street for the third time and ran in Dana in the interior sometimes. Like, they just didn't have a good duo. So can I be talking to Peter Woods? Hell yeah.
Do you guys want to know the scout report on Peter Woods? Because we haven't talked about him yet.
Sure.
So some of the strengths, this is according to NFL Draft Buzz. Explosiveness off the snap, jumps off the tape consistently. The first defender moving at the snap, gaining immediate leverage advantage that disrupts blocking schemes before they develop. He's got athletic fluidity for his size. He's 6'3", 315 pounds. He's a big boy. Violent, heavy hands that land with shocking power. Some of the weaknesses, pass rush playing occasionally becomes predictable, relies heavily on that first step explosion. He plays with such aggression at times that he sometimes overruns ball carriers. So he wants to get after it so much where he might run past the ball carrier and the opening will get in, and the opening in the inside will be bigger. Can also get caught playing too high when fatigued, allowing for offensive linemen to get under his pads and neutralize his natural power advantage late in games. But it sounds like with proper coaching, there's a reason he's considered a top 10 pick by a lot of people, and he's freakishly athletic for his size, and he's got a lot of power. So it feels like a good guy to pair along with Chris Jones.
Yeah, I mean, again, I wouldn't hate that.
Would you take? So I know we talked about the edge rusher. Gold and Cody have a question regarding it. Would you take Peter Woods over Caleb Downs, given some of the needs? Not necessarily edge.
I guess it's been this is just where I'm at and people can disagree all they want, but and it's fine. It's draft talk, but defensive line to me is the number one priority. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Defensive line's the number one priority. Like, someone says that if they can draft a right tackle, then it solidifies the future and all that. They can draft a safety and it's a star player. That's fine. The answer is there is no strict path here. This is why the draft talk is fun. Everybody's going to have a different opinion. I just don't believe they should. In the Caleb Downs discussion, I'll at least get it because that's a position they have not invested here recently. I just don't get the idea of drafting an offensive lineman in the top 10 when you're going to triple down on the same position. You're gonna triple down. Jalen Moore, you're gonna have him sit on the bench with an $18 million cap hit. And don't tell me the rookie's gonna sit for a year. That doesn't happen with a top 10 pick. So you're gonna have Jalen Moore sit on the bench making $18 million. The hell you are. You don't draft a tackle at top 10 unless you know something we don't about Jalen Moore's health.
Yeah, or you just think he stunk, and we watched him play. He didn't stink. And so, that part of it just becomes way more fascinating. I continue to see all the rumblings around all the OCs are starting to come off the board. I assume you noticed, Gold. In the, Tommy Reese is going to go down and whatever. Stefanski going back to an OC that didn't work in Cleveland's a bit interesting. I'm a little bit worried about that if I were Atlanta. But Tommy Reese is going to go down there. Some of the OC hires are coming off the board. You know what I found fascinating of this? Anybody else notice? No one wants the Eagles OC job. They can't give it away. It is toxic. And I was like, damn, they are historically one of the better franchises in the league over the last 10 years. Consistently in NFC championship games or Super Bowls or playing in massive games or winning their division. They matter every year. And no one wants the job? Is that a Sirianni thing? Is that a lack of belief in Hurts? What do you guys, why do you think no one wants the Eagles job? Why is that
I think we saw the dysfunction on the sideline throughout much of the season. The A.J. Brown thing might take care of itself if they move on from him, although he's got a huge cap hit. But yeah, I think it's Nick Sirianni, and they've also, how many OCs have they gone through in the last 4 years? That's the other problem.
Oh, dude, they're running.
Kellen Moore left because he got a head coaching job, in fairness, and he would have stayed if he didn't. But they've had a lot of different OCs. It seems like Nick Sirianni is just a complete hothead. And so do you want to be around that? Also, there's a chance that you're there for a year because if the Eagles miss the playoffs next year or an early exit, Nick Sirianni will be fired next year. So then you're fired as well. So I think that's part of the issue you have there with Philadelphia's OC spot. And how many of these OCs believe that Jalen Hurts can be that guy that, in the offense that you want to run?
I guess, it's just so fascinating because very rarely do you see a winning team with successful franchise and all this other stuff. And they can't, they have brought in 10 different people to interview for that job. Even a guy like Matt Nagy. You think Jalen Hurts, winning organization, he was like, I don't think I'm going to win. I don't think I can get enough credits. I think this, more than anything, speaks to Jalen Hurts. Because I think they take on all the challenges you're talking about. I don't think, for instance, Cincinnati, who we don't think is a well-run organization. And look, their head coach is not a hothead like Sirianni, but Zach Taylor could get fired. I think if that OC job was open, a lot of people would be interested in becoming the offensive coordinator for Joe Burrow. I think this is about a lack of belief in Jalen Hurts. I think it is just speaking to these teams who are like, I don't know if I can look good as an OC running that offense. Handing it to Saquon, running a short passing game. I don't get the automatic tush-push 4th and inches anymore, 3rd and 1s anymore. And yeah, I think Sirianni kind of sucks to get along with, clearly. He's constantly fighting with A.J. Brown or Jalen Hurts or his other OC. And they have been running through offensive coordinators. It's always their fault, not Sirianni's, not the other. It's just kind of crazy to me. As much as he's been to the Super Bowl and won one, Philly, more than any other franchise, in my opinion, will run out winners. They think it's the Roseman ownership, scouting. That's how we win. It has nothing to do with these coaches we keep hiring. We'll run their ass out of town. Peterson won a Super Bowl. Nick, Sirianni won a Super Bowl. Next year, you're telling me he's on the hot seat? He just won it less than a calendar year ago. They're going to run his ass out. And what's crazy? Yeah, they might. They might. I'm not actually arguing with you. You're right. They might run him out of town.
Don't forget, we got the Chiefs offseason show coming up on Tuesday, February 10th, right here on 96.5 The Fan. We're going to have Bob in studio, Dusty, C-Dot, Cody, and I all in studio talking Chiefs football, talking Chiefs offseason. That'll be February 10th from 9 a.m. to 11. Up next, let's talk about Patrick Mahomes a little bit and where he maybe is coming up short the most and how stats can be misleading in this case. Plus, a survey is out about the popular sports in America, and one might surprise you.
Watch Cody and Gold on YouTube by subscribing to the 96.5 YouTube channel. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
NFL playoffs, let's go. DraftKings Sportsbook, which is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, makes every moment feel bigger. In the postseason, the game shifts fast, and with DraftKings live betting options, you can stay right in the moment. Make every moment matter this NFL postseason with DraftKings. I'm looking at this Patriots and Broncos game, and look, I don't know if this is a sicko bet or not, but they got Jarrett Stidham, who's going to be starting for the Broncos this weekend at 14.5 rushing yards. I'm going to take the under. You get that at minus 113 on DraftKings. And DraftKings has your back with early extra protection. If the player in your eligible NFL prop bet goes down at any point in the first half, you still get paid in cash because with DraftKings, you're covered through the entire half. Why would you bet player props anywhere else? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 965. That's code 965 to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Additional terms at dkng.com/audio. Limited time offer.
Start the new year by moving, not hurting. If joint pain's holding you back, then listen up. There's a way to get real relief without surgery, without downtime, and without putting your life on pause. QC Kinetics delivers regenerative treatments that actually help your body repair the areas causing you pain. Those achy knees, hips, shoulders, your back, wherever it hurts. Instead of facing an invasive operation that sidelines you for months, these treatments happen right in the office and you go about your day. Skip the 3 to 6 months of recovery. Skip the pain. Skip the invasive surgery. Imagine this instead. You're moving stronger and better and planning the year you want. Game-changing regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. January is supposed to be your clean slate, so make it one. Stop managing the pain and start solving it with QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, it's QC Kinetics.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816 330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Chick-fil-A's new Frosted Sodas and Floats, it's a 10 out of 10. Hey, this is Lizzie, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new Frosted Sodas and Floats is how well they go together. You will love having your favorite soda blended with our creamy ice stream to make a new frosted soda or float. With the mix of the ice stream and soda fizz, it's so delicious, I call it Fizzalicious.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
Paramount Plus is the new home of UFC, and we're coming out swinging with UFC 324.
Oh, what a shot!
And 325. Boom! On back-to-back weekends, the new era is here.
It's time!
Every fight.
Bam! Let's go!
One subscription.
Oh my goodness!
Pay-per-view just got knocked out.
Let's go!
Back-to-back blockbuster UFC events this month only on Paramount Plus.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus comes out swinging. Highlight machine Justin Gaethje collides with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett in a must-see high-octane main event. Plus, Sean Sugar O'Malley faces off against Song Yadong in a stand-up war filled with high-level striking. Pay-per-view just got knocked out. Stream UFC 324 live on January 24th, only on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com/UFC to get started.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes videos like MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Best Bets. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
$11 o'clock hour. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the trash of the day in 20 minutes. So, Patrick Mahomes, we don't know the timeline for sure. Great chance to play week 1. If not, you feel it's probably going to be at
in
least
the first month.
In the first month of the season by the time he gets there. And we started the show today asking, like, what do you want to see the offense look like as a fan? And now let's discuss Mahomes individually, because where do you think he needs to improve the most or is coming up short the most? Because I think the obvious one most people will say is, well, deep passes. He cannot connect down the field. Now, I think Xavier Worthy, if we're just talking with him, I think he has a problem with figuring out, field awareness and other things. But we did see Patrick Mahomes connect with Tyquan Thornton. So in a very short period of time. So is that a Mahomes thing? Is that a Worthy thing? All I know is post Tyreek Hill, the deep ball has not been there. And so is that a Mahomes thing again, or is it a personnel thing? That's the big question. I think, like most things, it's probably both to a certain extent, but Patrick Mahomes has struggled there. So where is he regressed, do you think?
So what's crazy is, like, overall, I actually think he's gotten better as a quarterback. I don't think he's just regressed on the aggregate. And so that's what's weird, because when you watch him play, you're like, what do you mean he hasn't regressed? His stats are worse. His completion percentage are worse. His deep passing game is worse. And those things are all probably true. Deep passing is where he's regressed the most by far. He used to hit players deep. And it might be as simple as he thinks they're all as fast as Tyreek Hill. I don't know. Because I think in watching him, he consistently overthrows deep passes all the time. Like, you got to change your target point. I mean, very simple. Wherever, like, if someone's running at the 30 and your job in those cases is to throw it to the 40, throw it to the 38 or something. Change it by a yard or two because he consistently overthrows guys and it isn't working out on that way. But here's two things this season that I think he has to dramatically improve, or at least improve this year, that fell off. One is big-time mistakes. That was the weirdest part of his this season regression. You know that he was only, like, Arrowhead Addict had the stat, and I think it was out there publicly there for the last couple of weeks when he was talking about when he had his struggles. He was one of only 7 guys this year to throw 3 red zone or more interceptions. He kept screwing up in the most important part. The Devin Lloyd one single-handedly cost him probably that Jags game. So that one immediately. But the other part to me is 2 years ago, he had a bad offensive line. Because of that, that man was running for his life, and he got in some bad habits. Last year, I thought the offensive line was okay. The bad habits weren't. He leaves the pocket too early. He lowers his eyes too fast. He got beat up 1 year at offensive line, and I don't think he's recovered from a fine motor, the way he operates in the pocket.
Still.
Yeah, he doesn't trust him. He's got to get back to believing his offensive line's going to protect him. My fear is it's only going to get worse now, right? Because now, for those first couple of games, you're also going to be worried about your knee. Like, on top of, running for your life, you're now also I hope, and I think it's a natural instinct. The first couple of times you get hit in the lower part of your body after a knee injury.
We hear that all the time. Yeah, we hear that all the time.
Is that, he'll still be a bit jittery there in the pocket is my fear.
I think, though, this goes back to the Eric Bieniemy and Matt Nagy conversation, honestly. Now, Matt Nagy, you would think, given the position that he played versus a running back, and who the QB coach is and all that, what you just described there, though, if we're going to actually get in the nitty-gritty, and I'm not trying to break down footwork, okay? Somebody else can do that.
No, but he's just been a bit gun-shy in the pocket. Yeah.
That's where, we talk about development of wide receivers, and there's a big upgrade now with O'Shea instead of Connor Embry, and hopefully developing guys like Xavier Worthy, and I'm really happy about that hire. I think that's a huge hire for them. Even if it's a position coach, it's a big difference just in terms of credibility. The other part is whoever the new OC is / the quarterback coach, and right now I think they have retained their QB coach. I don't believe they're making a change there yet. It's on that for some of this stuff. Like, even if it's Patrick Mahomes, it doesn't mean that
there isn't an ED job too,
that there still isn't fine tuning. Like, there is no, as great as Patrick Mahomes is or Tom Brady was and all that, like, it doesn't mean that there aren't coachable moments. And so this goes back to the relationship thing. It's great to get along, and this is where I actually do think EB can help, is being willing to discuss the issues and what you don't want to hear. And in who is going to be able to coach up Patrick Mahomes a little bit. If in fact his footwork is off, all right, who's going to step in and actually develop that more? That's what they haven't had here recently. You want to put that on Matt Nagy? Fine. Who else in the building is willing to do that?
This has been 2 very mediocre statistical seasons in a row. 3,500 passing yards. Now, he missed the final 3 games. He would have had 4,000 passing yards. He would have had 4,200 passing yards probably. 22 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. The year before, 3,900 passing touchdowns, or 3,900 yards, sorry. 26 passing touchdowns, 11 picks. There aren't bad stats, but those are like C.J. Stroud stats. Those are like, I'm a pretty good quarterback. I'm just putting around the league. Now, the year before that, he had 4,200 yards and almost 30 touchdowns, so I'm fine. And the year before that, he had 5,200, led the league, and 41 touchdowns, led the league. So, obviously, I still think it is in there. What's weird about their offense this year, and we talked about this, and when we talk more about just their general offense, we can bring up these stats a little bit more in detail. If you look at the statistical numbers before he got hurt, the first 13 weeks, I mean, numbers-wise, it should work. And that's where I still feel like it was a critical mistake at the critical moment part that burned them maybe more than anything, and consistency. What would happen is the Chiefs would go 4 straight drives. They'd move the ball, they'd score touchdowns, or they'd set up for field goals. They'd put points on it. And then for the next 5 drives, it'd be a wet fart. And you're like, what the hell happened? Why did you guys just stop moving the ball all together, all at once? They were not a consistent
Thanks for
offense
that
under
description.
Patrick
I
Mahomes.
appreciate that. Thank you.
We could have just played whichever sound bite you pulled up.
My computer is doing an update. Not my computer, the computer that we play our sound through. So I'm not able to access any drops right now.
Sorry,
it's it's updating.
You just have to hear it in your head instead, outside of there. But for Mahomes, I really do think, and I know we're going to talk bigger about the offense here again in the Chiefs Red Half Hour, but I really, I really do think that it boils down to red zone mistakes and trusting an offensive line that will protect you. What's funny about all these offensive stats that I'll give you in the Chiefs Red Half Hour is Mahomes, he still played half the season without a starting left tackle and a chunk without his right tackle. These offensive numbers, their offensive line next year should be better on aggregate. Kingsley will have been in his second year now as a full-time starter at left guard. They will have Simmons for all the games. They will have Trey. Remember, they missed Trey for part of the year, too. They will have Creed. They will have Trey. And I know that, not everyone will be healthy.
Yeah, there'll be other injuries.
But they are statistically unlikely to miss nearly as many games as they did this year on the offensive line.
I don't think your starting left tackle is going MIA for a month again.
How many games did he end up missing?
Was it 4?
4 to 6, something like that?
It might have ended up being somewhere in the middle there, 5. So point being is your left tackle's not missing a month again, unless he's actually dealing with an injury.
And then he got hurt and missed the last couple of the games too.
Yeah.
I was just trying to remember how many games he missed. I thought it was 3 or 4 or 5. I don't know. It felt like forever because every week we were talking about is there a left tackle coming back? And Andy'd be like, he's just going through some stuff. You're like, is he going to play this season? We're just asking questions.
The fact I felt like it took forever too because he wasn't there at the games at least. He was gone.
Yeah, he wasn't in Kansas City. Yeah, he wasn't in Kansas City. Yeah, so I really don't the knee was the big question around the draft, and he was ready for training camp. I think this will not. It'll be hopefully one of those things, and I think it will be that 2 years from now we're remember when that happened? That was so bizarre, but also never an issue again. I really think that is where it's trending. For him moving forward. All right, we'll get to the trash of the day in 10 minutes, but let's talk about something Drew pointed out to us in our group chat a day ago. We didn't get to it yesterday, but there was a survey done, and Fox Sports put this out, and it makes sense Fox Sports is doing it as well because they got the World Cup, and they're trying to really hype up the World Cup. It makes sense. We're excited about it here in Kansas City, and we got some of the reports coming out, of course, about the base camps and all that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, there's this survey talking about the most popular sports in the United States. So this is just the United States. No surprise when I tell you who the number one most popular sport is. That would be football, and it's in the NFL. Nobody's going to be surprised to see that. But in this survey, for the first time, they say, by 1%, because it went through 10% and 9% was the difference here. 10% of fans surveyed said there are more American soccer fans than baseball, MLB fans, which had 9%. I'm actually really surprised by this because for my entire life, frankly, I'm 35.
Yeah.
And I swear, going back to when I played soccer as a kid, it was always talking about the momentum of soccer, and one day it's going to be the second most popular sport and all that. And here we are 35 years later, and frankly, that hasn't happened. Now, the growth of soccer in this country is way up there compared to what it was when I was 10 years old. No doubt. Whether we want to talk about the KC Current and that existing in this facility and all that, we're vastly different than what it was. But in terms of popularity, if this is one survey, it's one survey.
And it's 1% difference.
And it's 1% difference. But is that also a warning sign for, as much as it's a positive for American soccer, is that a warning sign for baseball as we know that next year there's in all likelihood going to be a lockout? You better be careful.
That's more the warning. Because if you ask me right now, do I actually think that soccer has overtaken baseball?
No, yeah.
Do it on vibes, man. Talk to people. It just hasn't. And the reason why soccer hasn't overtaken it is we don't have good enough soccer. The quality of soccer in this country compared to the UK is terrible. Drew, you watch, and we all, Rob and Spec, Premier League soccer. The quality difference from Premier League soccer to what we get in the U.S. is why Messi, who was kind of washed in the Premier League game, can come over here and still look like the best player in the league.
Why Zlatan did the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, by a mile, can immediately look like infinitely better than every other player in the league. We have the best baseball players in the world here. And so, when you start talking about popularity, it's difficult. Especially, it's probably some of the American nationalism pride too, where you're like, I don't want to watch the worst soccer players. We get the best baseball players, best football players, best basketball players, best hockey players all play in this country. The hell am I watching a sport where we have the third best league in the? It might not be as good as La Liga. It might be the fourth best league in the world, fifth best league in the world.
Just real quick, and then Drew, sorry, for people asking where the survey came from. So this is the source of the survey. This is how it was titled: Fans' self-declared favorite sport from last quarter in the United States, or 2024, actually. I'm sorry, but it's just the survey results are just now coming out from Fox Sports. It was from the Economist. That was the publication. American football, 36% of fans surveyed said, of the share said that's their most popular, favorite, I should say. Basketball was 17. Football, American football, soccer, goodness. Soccer, 10. Baseball, 9. Ice hockey, 4. Tennis, 3. Boxing / MMA, 3. And golf, 2.
I think that the reason why I think soccer to some people has become more popular enough, at least here in the States, to warrant to get the survey is because the way that soccer has promoted the people like Messi and Ronaldo and Gareth Bale to an extent when he first came over here is Zlatan, same way Robert Lewandowski might come over here as well. Like
we get him all at the end.
I know that, but I think from the standpoint that Messi is like MJ to a certain point where everybody knows who he is, and the fact that he's in MLS is a insanely big deal. I think Shohei, in a way, is kind of that similar to that degree, but I think that's where people they recognize. Like if you ask somebody randomly on the street what Bobby Witt Jr. looks like, not in Kansas City, I don't know how many people are going to tell you yes or no to that.
Not many.
Where I think if you even
my kids know Messi and they don't know a lot of athletes.
Sure, but I wonder if you even ask somebody like who just as like a general soccer fan from a World Cup perspective, if you ask what Harry Kane looks like, I think more people might actually be able to answer what Harry Kane looks like than Bobby Witt Jr. looks like. I think that's part of why people believe soccer is more popular, and the Premier League is doing dates over here with their pregame show and everything like that. I think to an extent, it makes sense because the soccer markets their stars in a better way, I think, than we see Major League Baseball do. That's been a complaint for a long time.
This is also why football, the NFL, is trying to, as we played the audio from Robert Kraft, not only expand games, but guarantee that every team's playing, 2 international games a year. So that this survey is a United States survey. But so when they do this survey in London, that the NFL, quote unquote, American football over there, is getting a much larger fraction of their pie. I would love to see like this survey there and where is American football now stacking up. Someone said, why are you calling it American football? Because that's what the survey says. I understand it's the NFL, but for this conversation, that's how it's divvied up.
Because we're talking about the difference between soccer.
And I would say
everyone else calls it regular football soccer.
I think someone makes a great point, and this is probably the hurdle, the toughest hurdle, if you're somebody that wants to see the sport surpass any of these others, is that the best athletes in the United States don't play soccer. The best athletes in the United States play
NBA or NFL.
They just do. I'm not saying that
why they're third and fourth on
I'm
the
not saying that there aren't amazing athletes that play in the MLS. Of course there are. This is professional soccer still. But the best athletes, whether we're talking like LeBron, et cetera, they're not playing soccer. They're playing, and if they are American and they're playing soccer, they're not playing in the United States. They're playing over in Europe.
Drew, and I don't think you're wrong in the sense that Messi is at a different level, so I'm not trying to comp it. But 20 years ago, 15 years ago, we went through this cycle and they'd be like, Beckham is coming to U.S. He's going to change U.S. soccer. He's going to drive people. And Messi's a bigger star than Beckham. Beckham was a massive star, though, and known internationally. And so, like, I've gone through this before, but this goes to, like, if the MLS doesn't take advantage of the growth opportunity with Messi, then they never will, is my opinion. It's like the WNBA with Caitlin Clark. Take advantage while there's a huge spike in interest in your league. Caitlin Clark is driving people to your sport. You got to take advantage of this huge spike in interest in your sport and drag.
That's why the World Cup in the United States is so
But
massive this summer.
This survey though isn't an MLS versus MLB. This is a sport which is where I think I'll push back on the MLS thing. Like I'll be honest. Do I watch much MLS? Not really. I go to some sporting games, but because it's on Apple TV Plus, which I don't have, I can watch regular TV on YouTube TV and watch a Premier League game for no extra cost. And I already have Peacock, and I can watch any Premier League game. Like it's more accessible. Soccer is very accessible here, and I think because it's gotten more accessible, and because of the World Cup, and maybe it's also because the U.S. is also better in the World Cup now than they were to an extent 20 years ago from the standpoint of Christian Pulisic is playing overseas. You got a lot of the star, Sergio Dest is overseas. A lot of the star players that are on the U.S. men's national team, you can see play at the top, not just at MLS.
Yeah.
But in the little MLS, but in the Premier League and Bundesliga.
But don't you think?
I think that it appeals more to people to watch those sports, which in turn helps you fall in love with that sport, I think, a little bit more than it's so much so it passes baseball for some people.
You're right that the survey is not MLS, and it is just about soccer. That is fair. My only thing is, I think Cody alluded to it at the very beginning of the conversation, which is there are, I'm not saying it's everybody listening, there are a chunk of people that, because the NFL is the United States, right? Major League Baseball is the United States, and I understand there's international games that are played. The NBA, though, is in the United States. I think there are some people, right or wrong, that will say, well, soccer, like if we're saying the best league for soccer is not in the United States, then
it never is going to be.
And it's never going to be.
Correct.
There are, fair or not, there will be some people that are never going to be as attached to it because it's not
100%.
their sport. I'm just saying, I think there are people out there that
America!
Right.
I just think that's the truth.
Yeah. But that's where the World Cup is fun because everybody can get. You may not be the big soccer fan, but this summer when the United States is playing and knowing that the whole event is in the United States, also I guess in North America, is in Mexico and Canada as well, that you're gonna get behind your country. That's why the Four Nations face-off thing that the NHL did was so successful last year because. Look, I watched way more intently into that than I do for any other NHL game because it was awesome because your country was represented. That was cool. Anyway,
NHL's awesome live, by the way. If you've never been to a game, recommend.
Yeah, I'm very excited to go again here next month. But yeah, NHL is a ton of fun. All right, let's get to the trash.
Trash of the day.
Let's go to Seattle. You been to Seattle before?
No, never
I've been once. Been once.
Did you like it?
Been a decade. I was quick trip. I don't know if I could ever live there, but it was fine for a trip. It's also very, very expensive. So this has to do with the owner of a Seattle hot sauce company who's asking for help. So thieves stole a van worth $10,000 that had $10,000 worth of hot sauce inside of it.
$10,000.
This guy is known locally as the Pike Street Drummer. He runs Sheesh Hot Sauce with his business partner and had just bought the van a week earlier. He just bought it. It was taken from the Capitol Hill neighborhood, and it contained inventory, tents, marketing material, and his drum kit. He's been missing out on selling hot sauce and performing at Seahawks playoff games. A GoFundMe has been set up to help him. Just got the van, man. It got stolen.
How are you planning on? Are you going to hit the drum on the sidewalk at the Seahawks game to sell this? This guy had a plan. You can't just move 10,000. I guess you just throw that into the river, I don't know, and chop the van up. Because you're not going to try to move $10,000 worth of hot sauce, right? Can't do anything with the marketing materials. Sometimes I think these are stupid. They just steal, and then they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do with all of this. Because when you open that up and you realize you got to get rid of $10,000 worth of hot sauce, what's your method to get rid of it? What's your plan? You can't just put it all in your trash can. Too obvious.
Does somebody, a bunch of restaurant owners, you're just going to sell it cheaper to them? What are you doing? I don't know.
Seems a little too obvious. Like going door to door, you make more door dashing or something.
I don't know.
You're going to go door to door to restaurants trying to sell hot sauce?
The van is worth, that's what's worth the money is the van.
Yeah, that's what I said. How do you get rid of the hot sauce, though? You sell the van. Just whoever you chop whatever chop shop, you're like, hey, man, sauce is on you. Figure out a way to get rid of it. I'm giving you a stolen van, so I'm not responsible for
that semi truck that was full of chicken nuggets. Easier to get rid of the chicken nuggets, I bet.
Nobody on this show's ever had a car stolen, right?
No. Stolen, no. Broken into, yes.
Broken into, I've had. But in fairness,
my co-host in Wichita, way back when, had his car stolen off the side, right out of the side of the street.
Oh, really?
Yep. And then it was dumped, and unfortunately, it was stripped.
One of my genuine favorite memories, even though I'm sure they were both frustrated at the time, was my older brother, Seth. It was like, he didn't have a working garage or whatever, and he was doing what we all do in the Midwest, and he was like warming up his car in the driveway, and it got stolen. And my dad gave him a really hard time. He was like, you got to lock it, you got to be smart. And like a week later, my dad's got stolen for doing the exact same thing in the driveway. And I was like,
there you go.
Yeah, you didn't even learn your own lesson.
Dang.
And then his got swiped.
Dang. Sometimes it'd be like that, I guess.
Yeah, man.
That's
Look,
crazy.
I do like the remote start, but also, like in the case of modern cars,
it's locked. So
it's locked, and the car won't start unless you also have the fob in the car.
Yeah.
The car is nice. It's not technically fully
They can get
on,
in there if it's running, but like they can't. If you don't have the key fob in there, it's not starting anyway.
people suggesting that he's got to change the packaging. Whoever stole the hot sauce got to swap out all the packaging. Someone else said,
Put his
sounds
own
like
stickers on there?
They think this is insurance fraud. They're saying the guy's lying. I don't know. There's a GoFundMe. I guess I should see how much do you think the GoFundMe's up to? GoFundMe hot sauce.
How long ago did it start?
I don't know.
I guess when was this?
Trying to find the GoFundMe.
If it's more than 10K, you can stop donating. He's made whole. Well, actually, no. I guess it's plus the van.
I don't know if it's at 10K. I would guess I guess it depends on how long it's been open. I would say 6 or 7 maybe.
Sheesh. Hot sauce. Here we go.
Sheesh is what the name of the hot sauce is?
Yeah.
I got to be honest. How often this guy ask for a GoFundMe?
What do you mean?
Here is
anybody can ask for a GoFundMe. I think, right?
Here, he's got $2,300 raised of $4,000 right now.
All I'm saying is, I found a GoFundMe from 2022 that said the fight for the Pike Street drummer. It says I'm currently in a legal fight with the Department of Transportation.
Oh boy.
Then I found a GoFundMe from him from 2023, so a year later, that says drums on life support. Please help. My name is. Most of you know he's the Pike Street drummer. The majority of the followers see me. Blah blah blah. In hopes to obtaining a new drum set. This guy goes to GoFundMe every couple of years to help himself out.
Stacking GoFundMes?
That's 2 different GoFundMes.
I mean, nothing prevents you from doing it.
4 years.
If they're both legit, there's nothing that.
I know, but he has 3 in the last 4 years.
That is quite a bit.
It's a lot of GoFundMes.
This just said, last week he was preparing to leave for a Friday early afternoon market. He went downstairs to warm the van up, do a once-over to see if he had all their material and product. He said it took a minute, confused on where he parked the van. He walked up and down the block twice, possibly mistaken, and the van was gone.
All I'm saying is this is his 3rd GoFundMe in the last 4 years.
The van did not even have plates on it yet, he said. It wasn't even fully registered.
Oh
gosh, what a mess. That is the trash of the day. But yeah, someone just donated $300 or $100 13 hours ago to this guy.
You going to donate?
No.
Help him out?
No.
What if
He's
it was
in Seattle. I have no connection.
What
I have no
like the Kansas
connection.
City? It was like the Superman guy or whatever, you know?
I have no connection.
Whatever
I have no connection to this story whatsoever.
Is there a known street drummer in this town?
I'm sure there is. Heck, outside of Arrowhead, sometimes in the parking lot after the game, there's somebody drumming. Outside of Kaufman, when you're walking, there's somebody playing the saxophone as you're walking back to the parking lot at a Kaufman. You've seen that, right? The game's over. It's a Friday night. Some guy's playing a little jazz.
Mm-hmm. There's always
saxophone.
There's the bucket drummer outside of Kaufman pretty regularly.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's usually. I'm impressed by the bucket drummers.
I thought you were going to tell us that. Oh, I bet I could do that as well. I thought that's where this was headed.
I can't drum.
Somebody said they're going to be saying sheesh all day now.
Sheesh. Someone says, sheesh, Gold. What a jerk. Sheesh. All right. Up next, it's a pretty good name, actually. Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. I want to talk a little bit more about what you want from the Chiefs offense.
I'll give you some of those numbers from last year.
Yeah, we just talked about Patrick Mahomes, but the offense as a whole, what are you expecting moving forward? And some numbers that might surprise you. That's coming up here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts? Well, that means more ways to level up your playoff bets. You pick the matchups you believe in. Take your shot on an upset or build out a parlay that fits the moment. We've seen the spread go down a little bit in that Broncos game. Maybe you think Denver can cover the 4.5. Maybe you think even Jared Stidham can throw a touchdown pass in the game. Those are some of the bets you can make right now over at FanDuel. Then you apply your profit boost and you go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep on rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings. Escape to your new coastal seafood paradise. Introducing Aqua Pennies, where the freshest seafood, a full-service raw bar, prime steaks and chops, exquisite handcrafted cocktails, and a one-of-a-kind atmosphere come together in perfect harmony. Aqua Pennies is now open in Park Place, Leawood. Don't miss out. Experience something truly different. Tantalize your taste buds and elevate your evening out. To learn more, go to aquapennies.com.
Coast into Aqua Pennies, now open for lunch.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at Heartland Men's Health, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. Which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at Heartland Men's Health. Your initial visit is only $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
It's about time pros had one partner for the whole job. Why juggle 10 different suppliers when one can do it all? At the Home Depot, you'll save with pricing built for pros. You'll stay on track with job site deliveries, schedule, next day, or same day. And you'll get every size, every finish, every job lot quantity you need. One partner for the entire job. That's how pros get more done. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
Everyone needs to take care of their mental health, even running back Bijan Robinson.
When I'm on the field and feeling the pressure, I usually just take a deep breath. When I'm just breathing and seeing what's in front of me, everything just slows down. It just makes me feel great before I run the play.
Just like Bijan, we all need a strong mental game on and off the field. Make a game plan for your mental health at loveyourmindplaybook.org.
Love your mind.
Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Coming up in the noon hour, we will get into a bit more on quarterbacks and now the path for a few of the top quarterbacks Super Bowl-wise and reevaluate that. Plus, we'll update on what is going to take place in Jefferson City today on the sports betting front. Perhaps a vote today that would prohibit player prop on college players in sports betting. So that's coming up a little bit later on. But you mentioned you got some numbers here as we talk about the Chiefs offense and what you as a fan want to see. We already discussed Mahomes, but as a whole, what do you actually want to see moving forward? Is it one element of it more, or is there something that you think the Chiefs are not going to be able to accomplish again in 2026? All of that, 913-586-7965.
Can I give you some probably surprising numbers to you in the 13 weeks before Patrick Mahomes got hurt? He got hurt in week 14, so I'm going to give you the first 13 weeks of the NFL season. EPA per drive, so efficiency per drive, second in the NFL. They had the 5th highest touchdown percentage in the NFL. The 2nd highest scoring percentage in the NFL per drive. They averaged the most yards per drive. The 8th most yards per play. The 6th best throw efficiency. And the 12th best rush efficiency. The last one probably surprises you that it's it's high as 12, but obviously the worst of the bunch. If you look at advanced metrics, they will tell you that the Chiefs' offense was good. But I have eyeballs, Gold. And so while numbers sometimes can back up something that I believe to be true, there's parts of this, and this is where I think the numbers are telling you something, but also telling you what's wrong. They should not be first in the NFL in average drive distance. That tells me the special teams stunk. What the hell are they having to go all the distance all the time? It also means the defense was getting in bend-don't-break situations where they were having to make long, sustained drives, and they're not capable of going that long without mistakes, which is why they got to bring the big play back. I don't know how you have to do it. I don't know what it's going to take. I think it's because Patrick Mahomes doesn't trust his pocket and can't get the ball downfield, and he's not an efficient deep game passer. But they've got to find a way to not just be throwing the ball 3 yards from the line of scrimmage in a cloud of dust. There's got to be something to this idea of you are capable of being more big play than you have at this point.
And one other way to do that is via the run game. And I'm not saying that they need to be run first. One, it's never going to happen, and nor should it with Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. But when you do run, do you think there's an ability to be explosive? That is a scheme issue, but more importantly, I think it was personnel last year. And so we don't have to get into the free agent running back conversation specifically, but for me, if you're asking what would I like to see moving forward, a run game that has explosiveness. And I think it's more important now in 2026 NFL than it was in 2022. I just do. I think we've seen go through the top teams in the AFC and NFC postseason this year. Most of them, whether it was one back or two, had explosiveness in the run game, something the Chiefs do not presently have and haven't had in a couple years. And yeah, I understand they won a Super Bowl without it. I'm saying that how you won in 2019 and how you won in 2022 is not directly how you win in 2026. I don't believe that. I really don't. I think a run game is more important. They don't have to rely on it. But when I hand the ball off to hopefully one of the top free agent running backs or spend a draft pick on a running back, that back has the ability to take a 7-yard carry into a 30-yard carry. And they just have not had that. So that would be an element that you want to talk about big plays and explosiveness. It doesn't just have to be the passing game. And you don't have to suddenly run the ball way more. I'm saying be more efficient when you do run.
Yeah, that's the easy thing. I just think they were in watching, and you and I watched so much NFL over the course of the season, have continued to watch the playoffs and watch the teams that are still going further, right? Like the teams who are still alive. And when I watch these teams, one of the things that absolutely stands out about the Chiefs season is these numbers are inflated because of wild inconsistencies. I watched 7 games this year that for a quarter, the Chiefs offense looked like this year's Bengals, this year's Patriots. They look on fire. They're moving the ball with ease. People are open. Everything's firing. And then the other 3 quarters, I watched them go to sleep. I watched them, go entire halves with no points and then score 20 in other halves. They were so inconsistent offensively. They couldn't make in-game adjustments, or they just got figured out halfway through the game, or they didn't have the personnel right, so they couldn't do that for 4 straight quarters. I want them to, they can pass as much as they pass now. I want them to learn how to pass under center. I always heard people say, they need to learn to run under center. And I'll pull up the metric. They were good running under center. The problem was that nobody believed they were ever going to pass. So they went to go pass under center. They were bad at it. Patrick Mahomes was statistically much worse throwing under center. He's more inaccurate. Needed more time to throw, even though he's under center. And so they weren't good at that. And this is a weird season where you're like, hey, what do I want them to do offensively to get better? And while I know that everything Patrick Mahomes is going to do to get better is going to have to be watching it. And that's hard. He's going to have to just physically view it. Now, the good news is he's not in year 3 of the league. He knows the offense as good as probably any coach on that staff at this point, including Andy Reid. He's been executing it every day for years.
A few on the text line, 913-586-7965. Someone said, the end of half, beginning of half drives. That would be their area.
Bad.
That's a great
Red
point.
Zone turnovers too.
It's a great point. It was so noticeable at times. They just really, really struggled in those 2 circumstances. Yeah, a drive right before the half, coming out of halftime, and those are, as we know, big swing drives, a chance to double dip in some cases if the coin toss went your way, and they were just not able to do that. That is such a key part of the game. I think it's a great point. If you're, now what goes into fixing that, sure, that's a different conversation or a different part of this conversation. But in general, yes. What would you like them to be better at next year? Before the half and entering their post-halftime. I think that absolutely is a great point. Someone else said they want them just to simply go out and get a particular player, and they are suggesting A.J. Brown. I think it was Diana Rossini who was on with Colin Cowherd yesterday.
Yeah.
And she suggested to watch for the Chiefs on the A.J. Brown market.
Too. We can look deeper tomorrow at wide receivers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them between draft and trade and free agents. It's a pretty long list. Hell, Tyreek today was once again sending cryptic Chiefs tweets when he said, "Be enemy back in Chiefs."
I guess I'm surprised how many. You're right. We can talk A.J. Brown tomorrow if you want. But you mentioned Tyreek Hill, and I did see the tweet. I'm surprised, and maybe it's his desperation might be the answer. How many Chiefs fans are like, yeah, let's not only bring EB back, but let's bring Tyreek Hills back. And as if you can just run everything back from 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
I wanted this to be the offseason of not bringing everyone back. So it's not me. They already started with EB. I want new players, fresh blood. But then I don't remember who it was. God, who did I hear? Maybe it was, I was listening to a national podcast. And weirdly enough, they were making me come back to being moderate on it instead of harsh. And talking about what we spent a good chunk of our time doing in Kansas City when talking about the Chiefs dynasty and how the only way to really try to mimic the single greatest dynasty in NFL history is the Patriots. And I hate to break it to us, Gold, in particular, because we kind of hate the idea of continuing to do that. You guys have a better example of a team who did nothing but constantly bring back coaches, bring back players. Every year was Matt Patricia back with the Patriots, Josh McDaniels back with the Patriots. Oh, some random wide receiver left for a year, back with the Patriots. Oh, that linebacker who left a couple years ago, he's back with the Patriots. And they'd have more success when they went back with the old squad and turned it back around. I mean, it almost talked me into being moderate about it because the Patriots did do that a ton. They brought back all the old names. They loved getting the band back together, constantly did it for 20 straight years in New England. It was actually kind of crazy now that I thought about it. They brought people back all the time. I hate it at its core because I'm like, no, don't you need new players? But at the same time,
did they
those teams did do that.
Yeah, but I don't have the answer in front of me. Did they do it though at the skill positions and guys that they were counting on? At big time positions that they had holes at, or was it just all right, additional piece? Sure, let's bring them back and they can be a depth option for us. They can be a rotational player. I don't know the answer. If you're going to, when they brought back, Matt Patricia, sure, where were they at as an organization? Coaching, I hear you. I think that's way more likely. But as a player,
they kept winning, but yeah.
But as a player, what player did they bring back and he was a force for them when he came back?
Even towards the end, the most recent one I was thinking of Stephon Gilmore, but now I'm trying to think about who it was that I'd have to go back through the list.
I'm just saying I don't know if that happened.
I don't have that list in front of me, but they brought a lot of players back. James White is probably an example. Remember, he left and then came back and was immediately effective again to their organization. I'm just looking at they had some wide receivers and some defensive ends. It was when they were going through it in the podcast. I wish I pulled it up.
I was going to say, what wide receiver did they bring back, and he was one of the top reasons why their offense was good?
Welker they brought in from Miami, right? That
sure.
was never
that's a different thing.
Welker didn't leave, though. Yeah.
Did Julian Edelman? Did they bring him back, or was I can't even? I don't even remember other than him, Chris Hogan.
Dude, there were a lot of guys who left because they got good.
Edelman was with New England his entire career. He never left. He never left.
Yeah, he's not the example.
Gronk obviously.
I'm just saying who was actually one of their when he came back, he was viewed as one of the key cogs. I don't know if that really happens.
The truth is, they were more what you're saying, role players, right? They weren't, they didn't come back and they were superstars, but they had people leave and come back, and especially coaches. McDaniels and Patricia felt like they came back 80 times.
Yeah, but what they also would have done, what they also did during that, the Patriots in that time would have been a team that would have found a way to trade for A.J. Brown this offseason.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, they brought in Randy Moss in 1 year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, at least that. And then, of course, I'm going across the league, and I've been paying attention to the coaching cycle because it is easily one of the more interesting coaching cycles in a number of years because huge jobs are open with big-time quarterbacks. And then I was reading an article over on Pro Football Talk. And
your guy, Mike Florio.
Believe it or not, I actually think he had a good point. So I'll give him credit. We bury him when he's an idiot. So I'll give him credit for when he makes a good point.
Stop the press.
Look, if anything, I'm fair. Just, to everybody except for Derek
Cody's
Jeter.
Fair and balanced.
Fair and balanced. That's me. He was talking a little bit about, he'd gotten an anonymous text from someone in a league office, and they had said, quote, at this very moment, this is the worst collection of 3200s in league history, right? So they're just bearing this. But the more I was thinking about it, in 2022, 10 coaches were hired, 8 were fired. we're in another cycle where a third of the NFL is up for him, and a huge chunk of them are the ones that just got fired. And I was thinking about this as it relates to Andy Reid, who will be, not coaching this organization in a couple of years anyway. Should this give me more confidence they can find a head coach or less? Because the number of head coaches who are getting jobs and run the hell out in a couple of years is increasing dramatically, it appears, including guys around elite level guys, or because they're a functional organization, they just won't screw it up like all these other idiots. Wow. Because you can really just take it one of two ways. Because I will say the ability to find a good head coach lately has been pretty bleak in the NFL.
Probably depends on the timing of which he retires or is gone.
Yeah, so timing is everything for sure. I think also, is Patrick Mahomes still playing at this top tier level? And has he been healthy and all that? If so, that automatically makes it extremely attractive. I think what's unique about this cycle, not just that John Harbaugh got fired, Mike Tomlin stepping away, and Sean McDermott, guys that have consistently been in the playoffs, guys that in some cases have won a ring or two.
Both those guys, yeah.
There also has, and this is also why maybe it's interesting for Matt Nagy on this coaching cycle. There's not a ton of offensive play caller names out there. There really aren't. New ones. Clint Kubiak is still in Seattle. We'll see if he gets a gig. But you go through and look at some of the names. There's not a great group of offensive play calling candidates.
I'm assuming it's why Grant Udinski keeps getting
right. And
interviews.
So it does. That's to the timing point, I guess, that Drew said. Who, if it's 2 years from now, is it a better crop of young OC type candidates? In a year from now, is Nate Scheelhaus viewed as more ready? Right now, it doesn't feel like he's going to get a gig, a head coaching gig, despite his name coming up. Is he a year or so away? So there's different elements. I do think timing is everything. A lot of it, though, is if the Chiefs a year from now or 4 years from now, whenever it is that Andy Reid decides to hang it up, is the team still viewed as that top tier? That's the reason why we all thought Buffalo and Baltimore are top tier jobs still, despite their coaches getting fired.
As the quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think you could have made a pretty strong argument that, I don't know if Chiefs ownership was standing in the way, but until they hired Andy Reid, I wouldn't exactly say Clark Hunt's run as the owner of the Chiefs was going great. Okay, they hired a lot of bad coaches. They hired a lot of bad GMs. They had a whole lot of bad quarterbacks. The best thing they ever did was hire Andy Reid.
No doubt.
Which it changed the complete perception we have of Clark Hunt as an owner, is the truth. Up until that point, he was a bad owner because the team didn't do anything successful. Right?
Maybe people like owners when you're winning. Yep, that's how it works. Yep.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, it's not like the owner where we talk about Brown and Cincinnati, where they weren't spending any money or weren't making any efforts, and he wasn't like Jerry Jones, where he's just he had his his hand in every single cookie jar and he was causing problems. So I'm not trying to make it seem like he was one of the problematic owners who couldn't get out of
smiles and glory holes.
But he was not making successful decisions in the hiring department for a long time. That's also what comes to this and the way they're treating Josh Allen. I was just this coaching cycle's really made me think of how are the Chiefs going to handle who comes in for Mahomes? Are they just going to give him what their version of Dable is, right? It's just hiring Matt Nagy or Kafka to be his head. That's their version of Brian Dable. Nagy's just putting around. He's like, I like Nagy. He's the head coach now of the Chiefs. That's quality. Or do you go with the 30-year-old like Udinski, or do they? I don't think I think it's like Kansas basketball if Bill Self retired. I don't think you can just promote within in Kansas City. I think you have to open up all possibilities of the people who can be the Kansas City Chiefs head coach and give yourself a wide range, not just be like, congratulations, Spags, you're the coach now. I think you got to really cast a wide net.
Well, I think that's why I said it was, if it was timing, then is it during a cycle where all of a sudden a John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin type are available? Because that's the guy, obviously, right away that happens. I think
Clark's going to want that
works out to be that way.
Andy.
Well, if it's a debate between up and coming guys, or somehow a guy that's a Hall of Famer is at the tail end of his career, but he just got fired. Yes, please. We need to make sure you're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 or whatever for Patrick Mahomes are great. I think that's some of the line of thinking is it just depends on who's available. If I would almost lean who's the best defensive coordinator. Let me bring him in. Patrick Mahomes can take care of everything himself. You just got to find an OC that's able to do enough, and then Patrick Mahomes can just take over and do the rest. I think he's good enough as a quarterback that he doesn't need an offensive-minded head coach to run things, I guess.
I mean, yeah, fundamentally, that's just where Like everybody's different on this one.
Well, that was if it's a young quarterback. I thought if it's older, is it different or is it still the same?
It's different for me if it is.
It matters. Yeah, I think Cody's only if it's a young quarterback. For me, I still in that scenario. Let's say they get the best defensive head coaching candidate in 3 years from now or whatever.
Brian Flores, whatever.
Fine, sure. And by the way, he announced the contract extension with Minnesota.
Only if he doesn't get a head coaching job, technically.
Yeah. That's the weird thing that suddenly has been coming up. Like, well, I'm coming back. Like, it's weird how that's been phrased a lot.
I would like an out if someone offers me a head coaching gig, but otherwise I'll come back.
But back to like what Drew was saying. Yeah, so for me, the issue still would be that, let's say 34-year-old Patrick Mahomes, you go and get a defensive-minded head coach, great. Then you also still want him to have the OC hire becomes even more important at that point, though, because the head coach is not an offensive mind. So that OC is actually calling plays. Well, if he's great at calling plays, same thing applies. He's gone in a year or two. Then I got to go find another one. So that would still be my hesitation. I'm probably in the minority here. I just fundamentally, frankly, if I was an owner,
you would almost never hire a defensive.
I would always hire an offense, and that's not how the team operates. I get it, but I would always want my offensive-minded guy as my head coach.
I assume your only exception would be a guy like Harbaugh, who's like established, done it. Like for the Giants, you liked that hire for the Giants.
I like the hire.
He's not an offensive.
But again, now but you also have admittedly a problem with his OC that he hired. So I mean, that's my point. It's like the OC hire means even more if your head coach is not the one that's an offensive-minded guy.
What do we think? I mean, because I'm assuming Veach is going to have some say in this, along with Clark Hunt. I don't think it's going to just be Clark Hunt's, because that's what's so interesting about the dynamic now is like John Harbaugh, who just signed there in the Giants. They were making a huge deal. Did you guys see all the news about like? The structure.
A little bit of it, yeah.
He said, "I don't answer to Shane. I answer to the owner." And you're like, "Well, that's okay. Way to put your foot down, I guess." But it's like essentially, and then Shane's like, "Oh no, we work together.
Just something on paper, no big deal.
It's paid. Who cares?" And you're like, "I mean, he made a point of making sure everybody knew he doesn't answer to your ass." So like, it's not nothing. And as it sits right now, I'll be honest, it can work because that is the current structure in Kansas City. Andy has equal say, in my opinion, inside that organization as the GM. In some organizations, like, I don't know, what just happened where they ran their coach out and Sean McDermott, Bean obviously, no matter what coach they bring in, Bean has more say in that building than whatever head coach they hire, without question. And so when they go to hire a new coach, what does Brett Veach want the dynamic to be between the two of them? He's been co-leader in charge.
What kind of job he's doing. 3 years from now, is Brett Veach nailing draft picks, or are we saying...
this draft's going to make a big determination on his.
There's so many things to go into that.
But I mean, Howie Roseman, if you prove to be a good GM who can bring in talent and have talented rosters, Howie Roseman's seen a half a dozen coaches come and go. Like you could be but Howie Roseman is the guy in charge in that building. Like I really am curious, and this is now turning into a Brett Veach conversation. Yeah. What does Brett Veach want his dynamic to be going forward in the next head coach? Does he want to be the guy in charge? Does he want a co-working situation like it is now where the head coach gets final say? And you're right, it'll probably be dependent. Like if they went in and got a Grant Udinski type, they went to go find their Sean McVay. Well, I'm going to guess Veach has more power than the 32-year-old. Now they go find some established head coach like Drew thinks they're going to do.
Well, no, I'm just saying.
Could do.
No, I'm saying.
I don't think anybody's predicting what the Chiefs are going to do. We're just saying what you would want.
If timing works out where somebody like that, somebody like a Harbaugh, like a Tomlin who's won a Super Bowl,
think Clark could be very tempting.
I think it's very tempting. I do think, to the point that we've talked about with the coaching trees and stuff, if you're going to go for a younger mind, you directly look at the McVay tree, the Shanahan tree. Your eyes automatically go to that side of things where you've seen a lot of good development, a lot of good play callers, where a Nate Shields actually makes a lot of sense because of the tree, and you just kind of hope that it can work out and the relationship is good.
And candidates now we shouldn't even discuss because it's going to be 3 years.
I was going to say, 3 years from now,
totally
there's some other new name. I mean, Nate Shieldhouse was maybe locally, but
he might even be gone,
outside of Kansas City, Nate Shieldhouse wasn't even a name anybody outside of Kansas City was discussing 3 years ago.
Look, totally. So, think about any head coach.
We'll see. Sean McVay came out of nowhere for most people. So, yeah, it's if they're going with the non-established guy, none of us know who the hell that's going to be.
Well, and it could just easily 3 years from now, it could be that Kevin O'Connell gets fired in 3 years. You know, like we don't know who's going to be available. We know that there'll be a couple of veteran head coaches available, and we know that there'll be a bunch of coordinators available, and then there'll be the college coaches. That's the only thing I could never see happening. I don't see the Chiefs going down to the college ranks.
I wouldn't want them to. I wouldn't want them
to. No.
Yeah, that would be a big risk.
We desperately need Sean McVay to just let his contract run out. It's never going to happen. As much as I want Sean McVay to be the coach here, it is a 0.001% chance that timing ever lines up. Ever. So, we got to just let that dream die. We got to hope whatever coach you
No,
like
you need him to
as
actually-
a bad quarterback gets fired in 3 years.
Yeah,
Like Kevin.
the Sean McVay thing requires him in a year from now stepping away from coaching, being a broadcaster for a year or so, and then it happens to coincide when Andy maybe decides to retire. And then he says he wants to get back into coaching, and then the Chiefs have to agree to a trade with the rights for the Rams and give up like they did for the Rams with Dick Vermeil back in the day and give him a draft. Like there's a lot would have to align for that to ever happen.
You know what I'm going to hope? I'm going to hope that Kyle Shanahan goes 6-11 the next 3 years and is just available in 3 years. They can his ass. They just feel like they've peaked.
Yeah, I think he's a great head coach, but I also think there's still a little bit of the the fact that his teams historically, I don't remember the stat is, like when he's down in the fourth quarter, he never comes back.
Lose.
Now you can argue, well, look at the
You
quarterbacks
can argue
he's
that
had.
it's been Purdy and a bunch of other dudes.
That's one specific stat, and I know you can find stats, but that one's just very damning to me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
But he's one of the top coaches in the league, no question. They're actually investigating the electrical substation.
I saw.
stuff.
Did you guys see
John
that? That's so
Lynch
good.
said that the team is absolutely digging into whether or not that electrical substation stuff or whatever is causing injuries. As you should. You have to. You have to find out.
It went viral.
You have to find
Everyone
out.
was talking about it. And it does have, like, there are studies that says it has a physical impact. Now, some doctors are saying it's negligible and whatever deal this person was making out of it is nonsense. But I like that.
But even if it's 1%, even if
You
it's
gotta find out.
even if it's a 0.5% more likely, then you got to move.
You got to put some lead into the walls or whatever you got
That's
to do
about
to, like, reduce the signal in there.
$1 billion business. You got to make sure there's not anything that's harming your potential to win championships if it's something like that.
I hope that they find that it does have an impact and then they retrofit their building in order to protect their players. It'd be very funny to me that it turns out that the electrical
Pack it up and
substation-
move. Pack it up and move.
That stadium was just built.
Go back to
Pack it up
Candlestick.
and
I mean,
move.
maybe it's been like 15 years, but
Pack it
feels
up
like
and
was just built.
move.
Go back to Candlestick.
Someone says we can count on that electrical substation. It'll get Shanahan fired soon.
Somebody was trying to say Shanahan, like any coach, right? The stress of the job, and like they took a photo of like him aging over the last year or so. Like, hey, he looks run down and tired, and I'm sure he's overworked and all that. But like, someone was trying to make it seem like the electrical substation was causing him to age as well. Like, okay, we've really jumped the shark here a little bit. Pretty sure that's just called stress.
Would it bother you to have a Shanahan in Kansas City? Knowing the viscera you
In
must have
general,
had
I don't
from
like
Mike
the
Shanahan.
In general, I don't like the Shanahans. Yes. By the way, also for those, the Indiana OC Mike Shanahan is not related to this Shanahan family.
Oh, okay. Just happens to be
Their
named
OC's
Mike
name.
Shanahan
yeah,
and
my
got into
understanding-
football?
My
Weird.
understanding, it's not the same Shanahan family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Turns
Just
out
happens to
everybody
be
with the
another
last name
Shanahan.
Gold isn't related to you, or
That's-
last name Tap is related
Someone
to
can triple check, but I thought we had this conversation. Maybe it was on a different show. I was having this conversation on the weekend or something. We were looking it up.
I need
Yeah,
some
it's
more athletes with the last name Tap. When was the last one I had? Daryl Tap? He was a defensive tackle. Has there been one since?
The first thing you Google, Mike Shanahan, is he related?
Is that the first thing that pops up?
Uh-huh.
And?
We're trying to find it.
I think it's no, but I don't know. You can double check.
Oh my gosh, how far down do you have to go?
Yeah, I'll say what?
I don't think you're going to find
He,
it.
I
We're gonna
don't
let
think
that
he
drink
is.
down.
No,
He's not.
no, he's not.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
All right. Up next, we'll get to what's trending. Then I want to get back into some of these quarterbacks and how many rings do we see in the future? And we'll update you on what's going on in Jefferson City next.
Cody and Gold.
I'm just telling you the facts.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
We know we're about to have some cold weather coming to Kansas City area. And with that, we might have snow. I know the snow totals are all over the place. Some places are saying 4 inches. Some other places are saying we're getting 7 inches of snow. Whatever it may be, you want to have a vehicle you can count on and a reliable vehicle like a Ford F-150, which is what I'm driving right now thanks to Shawnee Mission Ford. I'll be utilizing not only the heated seats, remote start, but it'll be nice to have an all-wheel drive vehicle. And over at Shawnee Mission Ford, whether you're looking for a brand new vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle, you'll find it at Shawnee Mission Ford. In fact, over 100 quality pre-owned vehicles to choose from. They're also going to provide mobile service as well. So if you just don't have time, you got a busy schedule, and you need them to get your oil changed, they'll come to your office. They'll come to your home. It's part of their mobile service beyond just the buying process that they do over at Shawnee Mission Ford. They're going to offer you the largest discounts, give you the top trade allowance in Kansas City as well, with the great selection of new and used vehicles. Shawnee Mission Ford is on a mission to do more in 26.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. Well, if this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first touchdown scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back and unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Another app for inventory, one for CRM. Oh, don't forget accounting. Wait, which login was that?
Or you could use Odoo, one fully integrated system that does it all without the hassle. Ditch the app overload. Get everything your business needs on one platform. Try Odoo free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus comes out swinging. Highlight machine Justin Gaethje collides with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett in a must-see high-octane main event. Plus, Sean Sugar O'Malley faces off against Song Yadong in a stand-up war filled with high-level striking. Pay-per-view just got knocked out. Stream UFC 324 live on January 24th, only on Paramount Plus. Visit ParamountPlus.com/UFC to get started.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey Royals fans, it's Vern. I'll be broadcasting live from Royals Rally on Saturday, January 31st, starting at 9 a.m. as I sit down with the biggest names in the organization before they head off to spring training. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
96.5 The Fan. KFNC-FM and AM. HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on what's trending in Jefferson City later on today, the Missouri Gaming Commission is expected to vote on whether or not they're going to ban player props for college athletes. Right now, in the state of Missouri, you cannot do player props for any Missouri athlete. So whether it's Mizzou or St. Louis University, you name it, you cannot do that. And they are one of 19 states that already have some sort of restriction. Some are just not betting on athletes in state at those universities. Others have gone a step further, which is what the Missouri Gaming Commission is going to discuss today and maybe vote on, which would get rid of over-unders and prop bets for all collegiate athletes. This, of course, comes with more and more of these indictments coming out, and the NCAA president specifically targeting Missouri because they were, or a school or two were named in the St. Louis University, and others were named in the latest indictment. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll talk more about it here in 15 minutes or so.
Next up on What's Trending, the MVP finalists for the NFL have officially been listed for the AP MVP. Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, and Matthew Stafford. The 5 names will hit the list. Obviously, we understand that it's pretty much a 2-horse race between Stafford and May for those. But a hell of a come up for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, yeah. I thought his career was starting to look a little bit shaky there, as in, is he going to be a quarterback forever there in Jacksonville? He gets it to the MVP finalist. McCaffrey, MVP finalist, also an Offensive Player of the Year finalist, not surprisingly. Always a funny way the award works. We always give Offensive Player of the Year to the best non-quarterback, which they should just call it that, and MVP to the best quarterback, which we know it'll be either. And I haven't checked the latest odds, either Drake May or Matthew Stafford. Reminder.
Well, the odds are off the board now since the voting already took place and stuff.
True.
So whatever's done is done. Matthew Stafford did win like the Pro Football Writers Association award.
I think they're
going to
give it to Stafford as like a honorary. You know what I'm saying? Like they're both. He's deserving of it just the same. But I'm just telling you, this is going to be the honorary one. The he's a future Hall of Famer. Here's your award, Stafford.
Next on What's Trending, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reporting that the Falcons have requested permission to interview Chiefs assistant GM Mike Bradway for their GM vacancy. Remember, the structure there in Atlanta is a little bit different. They have a president of football ops role, Matt Ryan, they created for Matt Ryan. And then they have Kevin Stefanski, who's already been hired, and then they still need to hire, though, a GM. And I don't know what the split in role and all that would be, but remember, over the last couple of years, we've started to see more and more members of the Chiefs front office get plucked away, whether it's Ryan Poles, Borgonzi, and then Brent Tillis up in Carolina as well.
Yeah, Brent Tillis got a promotion, and they gave him some more responsibility. Ryan Poles, whose job looked shaky for a little bit, is looking a little safer.
I would say so.
Now he's got Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson in place, and of course, so maybe another guy getting plucked away, and Mike Bradway. We'll see. Next up on What's Trending, John Lynch confirming what we probably knew yesterday, saying that Brandon Ayuk has played his last snap for the 49ers. Another potential wide receiver we can talk about tomorrow. That is one of the weirder. This doesn't happen very often in sports. Guy just stopped showing up to work. He got hurt. He got paid. They fought over contract. He got paid. He then got hurt. And then when they wanted him to come back to work after he was done being hurt, he stopped coming to work. And he just never showed back up, said he couldn't get a hold of him. No conversations ever really took place with him to the end. He said a trade more likely, but Brandon Ayuk done as a 49er, which we probably already knew, but at least said in his end-of-season press conference yesterday.
MLB Pipeline put out their latest top 100 prospect list. Carter Jensen at number 11 in the top 100 prospects, moving way up there. And then a pitcher, Kendry Churio, at 82. Again,
he's only 18.
This is, he's very young. This is the overall MLB. Now, there's different sites that have different ratings, but usually MLB Pipeline's kind of the one we all go off of, and so they've got a couple guys represented there. If you're wondering, the number 1 prospect right now in baseball is Connor Griffin, sorry.
Okay, makes sense.
The only thing
Kendry Churio, they got it.
Which listed, was this from Pipeline? Which one did you see that?
That was the official, that was the Baseball Perspectives.
That's right. I was going to say, because Baseball Pipeline did not have Carter Jensen at 11, so I was like, wait a second.
That's the other big one.
Yeah.
You know? And so they've got him at number 82. Churio, they must love. 18-year-old. Royals got some great young pitchers. I mean, Shields, Churio, they think he can be a fast riser. He pitched well in the Venezuela.
Blake Mitchell was 62nd at the end of the season over at MLB Pipeline, and Carter Jensen was 39th. So it tells you the kind of jump we're looking at.
They might not have upped theirs just yet. Lastly, on What's Trending, Bob Costas is returning to NBC Sports to host Sunday Night Baseball pregame show. Costas previously served as the host by the play-by-play announcer for NBC's MLB coverage for 15 seasons in the 80s and 90s. So he's going to host their pregame show as Sunday Night Baseball returns to NBC.
Actually, I'm glad he's doing pregame and not play-by-play. You know, Bob Costas, legendary voice.
Great studio host,
Yeah, and I will say this, just like with Sunday Night Football, I'm excited to see Sunday Night Baseball on NBC. They make things seem like it's a big deal.
When it's on network TV, it just feels different than when it's like, I got to pop over to Apple TV for Friday Night Baseball.
But look at what they've done with the NBA as well. They do a good job of making each game feel big. And even if it's a random baseball game in this case. And I have no doubt that they'll probably do the same thing. They just do a phenomenal job with that. And so I'm excited. And
are the Royals, they got any Sunday Night Baseball games?
There was 3, I thought.
3? Oh, that's more than I was thinking. Royals' first Sunday Night Baseball game is April 26th, so very early in the season against the Angels.
Yeah, they got 3 on Peacock. That's where they'll be on.
Oh, not actual NBC? Didn't get any NBC ones?
Yeah, just Peacock.
Jerks. I don't think I have Peacock anymore.
It'll be back. It'll be the one you mentioned in April, and then May 10th against the Tigers, and September 6th against the Toronto
Just
Blue
wait until
Jays.
baseball season, Cody, so you can get the deal or whatever it is.
Dude, that's 6 months.
The Royals haven't been on Sunday Night Baseball since 2016.
Who's got a password I can borrow for Peacock? I don't want to get it back again. I just want to borrow your password.
I'm about to cancel them. I have an active one right now, but it's about to get canceled.
You're getting rid of it?
Yeah, it's because a lot of the Big 12, KU's been playing on Peacock off and on. They had a game just like a week ago, I think.
There's a lot of college basketball games.
So that's why I've kept it, but I was about to delete it.
As many as these price increases I keep getting, I'm about to have to go...
I mean, Professor Tapp, it shouldn't be a problem for you.
Go to some of those sites.
You get the student
less reputable.
You get a student discount or a teacher discount. Shouldn't be a problem.
I don't think Peacock gives a teacher discount. I signed up for a website one time that tells me all the teacher discounts because I use them, even though it feels kind of disingenuous because I teach 2 classes, and actually only 1 this semester. I mean, and Miss Dugan called me a fake teacher.
That should be a rebuttal, though. I get the teacher discounts.
All I have to do is prove a pay stub from a university. They don't really care.
There you go.
Oh, look, they do have a teacher discount for Peacock.
You're welcome.
There
you go.
Teacher discount, $6.99 a month for 12 months instead of $10.99.
Boom.
Teacher discounts coming clutch.
You're back in.
I can get teacher discounts for streaming sites. I'm going to abuse the hell out of this.
Yeah.
I didn't realize.
I'm sure they love you
It
saying
specifically
that,
says no adjunct professors at UMKC that teach podcasts.
All it says is annual verification required.
And here we've reached the point of the show where the text line becomes full of illegal streaming services. Yes, I know they exist. We're on air. We're not going to be talking about illegal streaming services. But
I will be looking into them.
But I know they exist. If you're wondering why we're not mentioning them for obvious reasons, we're talking about this show is above board, as we've explained for a while.
We had
for the last almost calendar year.
This is like Andy Reid. We want him to adapt and change. This show had to adapt and change do some things. So
Yes.
we became an above board show.
That's right.
Even though I would say we operated in the gray for a while. I'm not even sure some of it qualified as the gray, but certainly the gray for a bit. Clean, free. We don't cause any problems on this show anymore. Talk quarterbacks.
Let's do that because I think these are always fun. We check in once or twice a year with it and revisit out of the top tier quarterbacks. How many rings do you guys think some of them are ending up with? And now that we got the final 4 quarterbacks being Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford and Jared Stidham and Drake May, we can start with those 4 and then expand it back out to Allen, Burrow, Mahomes, and Lamar, and maybe Drake May, which he'll be part of this conversation anyway. Out of those 4, one of them's getting a ring. One of them's getting a ring. That's just a fact. Somebody out of this group will be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Now, I think each one has a different feel to it and what it means for their career. I don't think if Sam Darnold wins a ring, we suddenly think he's getting 3 of them. If Matthew Stafford gets it, it'll be a second and we think he retires. Jarrett Stidham would be the Nick Foles story-ish all over again. And for Drake May, if he gets a ring, then he's, in a weird way, just if you look at the early start of his career, he's on the same, almost the same feel, even given the playoff games, as what Tom Brady did. Not saying he's going to be in the GOAT conversation, but he would be in that early tier of wow, second year, got a ring.
Which means you got a chance to get more of them. Yeah,
so out of the 4 quarterbacks, and I guess we'll give our predictions for the games tomorrow on the show for this weekend, but who do you think is most likely? Stafford could get a second this year, so the question will be, does anybody get more than 2 rings out of this group?
More than 2?
I
don't think so.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not even confident.
Does anybody get 2? How about that, of that group? Because that means if Stafford doesn't...
May's got the best chance, but he's got to win it this year.
Because he's young.
I mean, do people realize how few quarterbacks have 3 rings? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, do they realize?
Right. I think Stafford actually is the only one that can get to 2. And the reason I say that is because the rest of the AFC, Lamar will be back, Burrow will be back, Mahomes will be back, Herbert should be better, Trevor Lawrence is there. I think it'll be harder to navigate the AFC for Drake May, or even if he gets this one, I think that also is part of the conversation. I wasn't here, but I'm sure you guys might have had with Burrow around this conversation, is you got to get it when you have the chance to. Drake May's got a chance to get the one because you don't know when you're going to be back given the talent in the AFC. It feels like Stafford's the only one that can get to 2 because he just needs one more to get there, and he's obviously right on the cusp.
And that's
of doing
also the reason, if you look at Drake May and why, Cody, when you said, you would pick him as the best chance, it's because, one, he's playing at a high level, but also he's 24 years old or whatever it is at this point in time. So out of this group, I just think it's pretty simple. Stidham, it would just be a crazy story. Sam Darnold, it'd be an awesome story, but nobody thinks he's suddenly going to go on a run of multiple rings.
That'd be his ring.
And Stafford will retire if he gets his. So it really is the only one of this group that could have a true shift and counting how many they could get, I think, would be if Drake May got one this young. And then what does that do for Josh Allen, for Lamar, for Burrow, for Mahomes? Because I still, and this is, I promise you, this is not just me trying to tick off Drew. I've said it for a couple years. Joe Burrow, to me, is Dan Marino. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to put up unbelievable numbers, and he's a hell of a quarterback. But coupling the division, coupling the organization that stinks, and his injury history right now, and the fact that it's been a couple years since he's in the playoffs, and he'll get back to the playoffs, and he might get back to an AFC title game. But I think he's going to be the quarterback out of this bunch that doesn't get a ring.
This is why...
And he's not the only one, by the way.
Never underappreciate, even when you're as young as Drake May, of taking advantage of your chance to get a Super Bowl. Now, there are 13 total quarterbacks in NFL history with multiple Super Bowl rings. So it's like just getting one is hard. Now, look, if May misses this year, he can still go get another. But if he wants to be anywhere near the multiple category, one sure as hell better be this year, when he has the entire roster all put together, a defense playing great, weapons around him, and a good head coach. He's not getting to multiple unless he wins this year. No chance. He's not getting to 2.
Given the AFC talent.
Probably. For the same reason you mentioned. But that's why we had this conversation a couple of years ago, and I told you that I thought 2 out of the 3 were going to get a Super Bowl ring. I'm down to 1. Too many of them have missed too many years. The Bills have gone into the playoffs 5 times, I think, with a Super Bowl caliber roster. The Bengals have gone into the playoffs 2 times with a Super Bowl caliber roster, and I added it up. The Ravens have gone in 4 times with what I think qualifies as a Super Bowl caliber roster. 13 or more wins, excellent defense, good offensive stats, a team that you could win it with. They're 0 for 10. They're 0 for 11. They got nothing, 0 to show for it. So now all of a sudden I think they're all going to cash a ticket? I don't think so, man. There's enough other good young quarterbacks. Because if I tossed in Trevor Lawrence and Drake May, and I toss in all the other young quarterbacks who you think might be good in the AFC, I'm only giving a couple more out anyway if I add in 5 or 6 different
plus, there's new quarterbacks coming in the league. There'll be, whoever the next stud quarterback, over the next couple, there'll be some other quarterback that emerges. That's drafted by an AFC team. I don't know if it's going to be Mendoza. Look,
it's easy
on he's on the Raiders, but as far as a couple of years from now, where's Arch Manning end up? If he ends up being that guy, right now I think he's been underwhelming in college, but we'll see how it plays out. Does he go to an AFC team? That can change this entire deal.
I think Burrow might get one in a different uniform. I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have a limited physical ability, and I don't think either of them cash it.
I still have Josh Allen getting one before it's all done. And I know this week is a weird week to say it. They just got eliminated. Their head coach got fired. Their GM and owner seem like it's a mess. I totally understand.
He crapped the bed.
I think Josh Allen is still the second best quarterback in football. I still think he eventually gets one.
My problem is that I think the Bills roster mimics a little bit in the Chiefs in the sense that they probably got a couple of years before they're back to that, like what they were before. And I mean, genuinely, how many years do you think Josh Allen can continue to play football exactly the way he plays football now? Like, how many years do you guys think he has playing football?
How old is he now? 29 to 28 or 30?
30. Yeah, I think he's
34.
Well, you looked that up. I mean, that is the interesting thing about this entire group, though, Cody. And I know Josh Allen.
He's 29 years old. He'll be 30 before the season starts.
I know Josh Allen relies on his physicality but more than in the others. Yeah. But that's the thing with this entire group. Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Jackson. This era of the NFL, we have never seen 4 or 5 quarterbacks.
They can all move.
How do they age? Basically, we don't know. Like, yes, we have had mobile quarterbacks before on a one-off, Michael Vick and stuff like that. I'm talking about the whole league now, these guys. We do not know what the 35-year-old season looks like for quarterbacks that play this way. We may predict and think we know, but we truly don't know yet. And it is a fascinating question, and we're going to find out over the next couple of years. I do think Lamar Jackson in particular is different as a running quarterback than even Josh Allen just because of the size. They both take hits. Lamar Jackson has had injuries. Josh Allen, knock on wood, he really hasn't had injuries. He really hasn't.
Is he? So you make the comp that Joe Burrow can
But
be
it's just
Dan
like, how
Marino.
long can you be like that? Because he needs the running game is a part of his game. You know?
Imagine if they didn't have James Cook this year. I mean, James Cook was, but I mean, because I know Gold makes the conversation or the comp, Dan Marino, Joe Burrow. If Josh Allen doesn't win one, what is he? A better version of Cam Newton?
Phillip Rivers?
No. I mean,
Cam
sure,
Newton got
I guess
to a
so.
Super Bowl, though. I mean, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, I don't. If we're talking about comparisons, I mean, we're
whatever makes you feel better, I guess, on the comp.
Like right now,
no, I just think as of right now, there's one that like I just. It's really hard for me to think for the reason that Cody said is that you look at the rosters and the team and the all-pro teammates that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have had, and for them not to make one with a better organization and a better coach, like you could just go down the line of things that they've had that have been better than Joe Burrow has, and they haven't even made one, and losing to Burrow in the process.
Yeah, I just think Josh Allen.
I just think that it's hard to say that. Yeah, Josh Allen's gonna make one. I think that this was it. I think
his best chance may have already happened for sure, but also we're all guilty of this when we talk about even Mahomes too. We can agree like best chance has already happened, but that doesn't mean it's a 0% either. You know, like yes, the best chances for Patrick Mahomes already happened too. I would argue, guys, and he's got 3, but like it doesn't mean he won't ever win one. And you know that's all I would say about that. The reason why I still side with Allen, one, I think he's a better quarterback, but I also want a guy that's consistently in the dance at least. Like the odds just are better in my favor a bit more if I know I at least am in the playoffs. If I miss the playoffs 3 years, if I miss the playoffs 2 or 3 years in a row, I have no chance to get there. So that's the only other part of my thinking with it. We'll see.
I think that's more than fair. I mean, as it sits right now, and look, when Joe Burrow's got to the playoffs, he's gone pretty far. He's been in exactly 2 playoffs.
He's been in the AFC title game or the Super Bowl in both of them.
Yeah, but
he hasn't lost before.
But he's 2 for 6 in getting there, which is crazy. Josh Allen, however, has been in the playoffs all 6 of the 7 years he has been with the team. So
he
like
made the AFC title game once?
Yeah, and like when you look twice, he's been in the AFC title game twice.
In both of them.
He has been in 15 now though playoff games and is 8-7. So for him, it's just if the ball, like for instance, if they just happen to call the game the other way, if they happen to call that interception a catch.
Yeah.
And I think that they got the call right, but if they just call it the other way, Josh Allen is playing in an AFC title game again, and so like sometimes you would just think luck will be on his side eventually, and he'll just to Gold's point. He'll just have a run because he gives himself a chance.
I mean, look, I guess there's a chance.
Single year in order to do it.
I guess there's a chance. I mean, knowing what we now see in Caleb Williams on the NFC side, I mean, yeah, is there a scenario for sure where Burrow, Allen, and Jackson that they all get goose eggs? There's a chance, absolutely. There's a chance. I still think Allen gets one, but it's not insane to say none of them get them.
Well, they're all 30 now.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that's the part. Like, isn't Joe Burrow's got to be 30 soon?
I couldn't tell you.
Because he came out of college at like 24 years old. So, like, he's got to be...
He is 30 not till next December.
Okay, so in the middle of the season, he'll turn 30. So Josh Allen's getting ready to turn 30. They're around the same age. It's 6 months apart. Let's not...
Yeah.
And the only part with him is just what we don't know, and hopefully, for his sake, he gets in a better spot. But, like, based on his comments, like, is Joe Burrow the guy that, out of the bunch, is more likely to call it quits in 5 years? For sure.
I mean, the way
I don't know if he's going to. I'm not saying he's going to stop playing in 5 years, but based on his comments, like, and if the organization keeps screwing it up,
Lamar Jackson's 29.
I think it also is part of if you put him on, I don't know, if you replaced Matt Stafford with Joe Burrow has to be the one on the list that's getting the Super Bowl, I think, over Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
Probably, but that's probably.
I think it's part of it is that he's on the Bengals, and the Bengals are a joke of an organization. They don't have the worst coach. The defense is bad. Like, I think all of the things trickle down to be part of that conversation where if you put him on almost any other roster outside of maybe the 10 worst teams in the league this year, he's number one on the list, I think, in terms of, I'm picking him to go in the thing because he's been there and he took the team there and all that.
Unfortunately, the Bengals drafted him.
Yeah, I mean, and if Josh Allen was with Sean McVay and with the Rams, I would say he already has a ring. So,
yeah,
same thing.
We've said this before. We've said this about at least Josh Allen, I know, and probably Joe Burrow. If any of those guys were with Andy, but we once did the conversation. If Josh Allen was with Andy Reid this entire time, does he have a ring by now? Yes.
Probably.
Maybe multiple. But yes.
And
if Joe Burrow was with Andy Reid this entire time, do I think he has at least one ring?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Same with Lamar Jackson. Like, there's a number of quarterbacks that I would give at least.
The way they do scheme, like I think that's if you look at it's a deeper conversation. But if you look at scheme, I don't know if Lamar Jackson has a ring with Andy Reid.
I think he does.
I don't know if Josh Allen has a ring with Andy Reid with how much they run the foot. I don't know if Josh Allen has a ring. If you put him with Sean McVay, I think it's different. Like I think that's where things are obviously a lot different, just based on scheme.
I think the Andy Reid
what Josh Allen needs and what Lamar Jackson need.
I think the answer to the Andy Reid thing for a lot of people, maybe you as well, I don't know, 2 years ago. I think right now everybody's down on Andy Reid a little bit. And again, not to rehash the conversation, you were suggesting to trade him a week ago. So like my guess is the vibe on Andy Reid is a little bit different now.
Andy Reid doesn't run the football in effective nature where Josh Allen, his best
you don't think he would adapt to his quarterback being Josh Allen? No. I mean, you don't think he would have adapted.
But he did with Michael Vick.
He's done it
before.
Wouldn't
he took Michael Vick and completely changed his. He used to have a running quarterback in Donovan McNabb. He's used quarterbacks who run. He just doesn't have one who runs like Josh Allen currently.
I think it would be the level of success that he would have. I mean, he didn't win a Super Bowl in Philly. I think there's, and he had a lot of success. But I think it's the way that he runs his scheme or the way that he wants to. He would adjust, but the way that he wants to do things is better with Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow, I think, than it would be with Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson.
He had success with Alex Smith, who ran, and
success is great, but because
he didn't have a Hall of Famer, man. He just had dudes. Like, to me, I don't think he had more success.
Josh Allen's obviously better than
style.
Allen's obviously better than any other quarterback outside of Mahomes that Andy Reid would have had in his career.
Wasn't it crazy? Darnold's in the same draft class as Lamar and Josh Allen that we're talking about. He might be the guy who gets the ring first. And Baker went 1-1 in that draft.
That's insane. Yeah, I don't know. Look, we don't know who the coach is going to be for two of these teams moving forward too. So we'll see. And my guess is not only do we not know who the coach for Lamar is next year or Josh Allen, in a year or two we may not know who the coach is for Joe Burrow. So there's a lot of moving parts here with all three of those quarterbacks. But it is fascinating to see that a couple guys are cutting the line. It's either going to be Drake May or it's going to be Sam Darnold. I guess it could be Matthew Stafford just getting a second. But otherwise, we'll be having some folks cut the line a little bit of what we thought would happen for guys like Allen and Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Up next, though, I want to briefly touch on what is happening in Jefferson City. Let's talk about the Broncos and their sustainability in the West and also the NFL. Plus, we will get to the random question of the day.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that. But Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there. It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack with every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the championship round, you'll get a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts mean more ways to level up your playoff bets. We are just a couple of weeks away from the NFL season completely winding down, and we're going to find out who plays in the big game. Pick the matchups you believe in, take your shot on an upset, and build a parlay that fits this championship moment. Then apply those profit boosts and go for an even bigger payout to keep the playoffs fun rolling along. We are just a couple of weeks away from the NFL season completely winding down, and we're going to find out who plays in the big game. Visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack for every NFL playoff game day. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit book token. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and watching sports isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And my show is not a job, it's a passion. From the NFL playoffs to the NBA and everything in between, celebrate sports with me every day on You Better You Bet from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Download the Odyssey app now and listen to Westwood One Sports from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Oh. Wasn't expecting this today.
Drew's firing back over the text line.
Drew's fired up. I like the beat.
Choosing to
I
hear
like
what they
the
want to
beat.
hear.
Well, that
People
happens.
choose what they
Drew,
want to hear.
that happens all the time.
And I don't even need to make my case, but people, yes, Andy Reid is a good football coach. Andy Reid does not stink. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer, but Andy Reid is best suited. His scheme is best suited when he has Mahomes
I disagree
or Burrow.
with that, but that's
Vic
fine.
never made a Super Bowl. McNabb wasn't the style of Michael Vick, and he made one and didn't win one. He's more of a Mahomes or a Burrow than he was a Vic.
It's fine that
or
you
an
agree
Allen
with
or
that.
Lamar.
But I completely disagree. And I think that Andy Reid has adapted to whatever quarterback he has had at his present
And I'm
time.
not saying he couldn't adapt to Lamar or Allen, but he is best suited to win with his scheme with those guys.
You are ignoring
is this a
I would say,
knockoff?
pretty sizable talent gap
Yeah.
between Patrick Mahomes and all the other guys you just listed.
Is this like a knockoff instrumental of WAP, or is this actually the instrumental?
It says the official instrumental.
Okay. I couldn't tell if it was like, it feels like, I definitely know what song it's supposed to be. I just didn't know if it's actually WAP.
I do. Do you remember we were? I swear to you.
Yes. Yeah. While you're laughing, we were in a meeting with our direct boss. When did this song come out? 3 years ago? I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Whenever the song came
we
out.
were in a meeting just talking about show stuff or whatever, and somehow that video,
I
that
think I made
song,
a joke saying I wouldn't play that on air.
we were talking about what music we can play or like the filter and like, hey, look, trust us, we'll be fine on something. And Cody's like, it's not like I'm going to start playing And Cody just said the name of the song without.
I think I said the abbreviation.
No, I think you said. No,
I think I said WAP.
I think you.
I think I then showed him the video to explain what I was talking about.
But in front of the boss, front of the boss in a meeting, you said wet.
I might have.
Yeah,
I don't remember. But it was pretty bleak.
It was very awkward.
This is a different WAP though.
This was before we were
WOP.
Correct. But it reminded Cody of that circumstance.
Yeah, I'm not playing Cardi B at
No.
Stallion out here.
Different song, but
at least that one.
But Cody heard WAP, and that was what happened in a meeting for sure.
Yes,
we're above board now.
Kind of.
I mean,
sometimes
pretty close.
I mean, we try. We try, and then Cody says stuff sometimes on the show. It happens.
I'm innocent.
Good.
I'm giving you just straight dome. I'm innocent of all things I'm being accused of.
That's more questionable than me coming back with this.
Let's maybe.
We're gonna push like the Dickens.
That one's so old manny. Let's talk a little bit about Missouri before we get into the Broncos. You had pointed out that Missouri today is expected to vote on whether or not to eliminate props for college players in Missouri. You can bet on Missouri players, but they're saying for all college players.
Yeah.
I guess, should I be bothered by this? Because I'll be honest, I'm not. They want to put a safeguard in place. It's okay, because this goes back to like all things when they enter the market are a bit of a Wild West format. Sports wagering being legalized in any state is all still very new. And so there's a lot of logistics to figure out. If they decided that in the end to eliminate at least any possibility, or lower the possibility of a college player wanting to take cash in order to point shave or affect their props individually, that they're going to put this in place, that's fine. I'll just bet something else. I don't know. There's a million other choices.
It's not a market that I typically bet in.
Me either.
College player props, but a lot of people do. And the NCAA requested Missouri take a look at this and other states because of the indictments that have come out. And it sounds like a vote's going to take place this afternoon. And my guess is it'll pass, as in they will put together a ban on collegiate player props. I think there's a real chance that happens later on today, and there'll be other states down the road. And
other states already have things like that.
There's 19 states that have some form of it. Some are just can't bet on the local colleges for player props. Others are different. The only thing I'll always say with this, and I think it's fine to obviously move forward and if they want to ban it, but I think once again, this idea that it totally deters, I push back on. I understand the optics. If you're the NCAA and if you're these states even, you want to show that you are trying to do something. I get it.
Before somebody else makes you do something.
However, for example, now right now, there's 19 states that have some sort of ban. If you are a collegiate player and somebody approaches you and is willing to offer X amount of money and you're willing to go along with it, the fact that you can't bet on a Missouri does not prevent the Missouri, in this hypothetical, the Missouri basketball player, we'll just say, from still doing it. Like, I can bet on Missouri while I'm in Kansas. So, the idea that, a 15-minute drive is now, so it's a bit of a...
Or that somebody in New York can't ask you to do the same thing.
Right. So, look, I understand why they're moving forward with this ban. It, to me, doesn't change a whole lot. It really doesn't, because there's all these other states I can do the exact same thing in.
Sure.
And whether or not the player is playing in the state that I am betting in doesn't really matter for this scheme. As we found out, the FBI indictments weren't. This latest one was not even involving player props, but it was all over the country. It was impacted Kennesaw State, Norfolk State, St. Louis University. I mean, all over the country. And not to mention the offshore betting markets where the same thing could apply and there's no real safeguards at all offshore. So it's more of an optic thing. It's make some people feel better is kind of how I view this, and that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's mostly what it is. And I'm generally in favor of adults making adult decisions. But every other industry in which there's a potential hazard, addiction or anything else, there are safe, I can't advertise cigarettes on the radio or television, there are things in place. And I think what they're doing is trying to get ahead of some of the things that people are worried about and putting some small changes in there. Someone also said you could just do betting caps and say that player props mean you can only bet so much on a player
Major
prop
League Baseball,
instead of the others.
Major League Baseball worked with the sports books a couple months ago after the Manuel Clase story came out and the indictment there where, again, he allegedly was intentionally throwing balls or intentionally lower velocity. They capped player props in those particular markets at, I think, 250. Now, that seems like a lot for a lot of people, but that
you're probably not going to
the-
risk your entire Major League Baseball
Yes.
career for $250
Or it
versus
just
if I
makes
could
it
have bet
harder.
$5,000 on it or something else. And some people are making big bets.
Yeah.
It's just gonna. I think the thing to keep in mind with all this stuff is it is still very. I would call it borderline in its infancy of
since
existence
2018.
as far as the legalization of it. So, and now that it's becoming legalized everywhere, it's even still young, and so everyone's gonna have to figure out the things to put in place to offer people safety as it relates to it. This just feels like one of those. I'm not really offended by it.
So we'll see if it happens this afternoon. If it gets approved or passed this afternoon, tomorrow we'll briefly mention it during What's Trending, I'm sure. But just wanted to pass that along as keeping an eye on how states are reacting to sports betting and now more and more of these investigations and indictments coming out from the FBI over the last couple of months. Back to football, though, and the Broncos, who will be hosting an AFC title game coming up on Sunday afternoon against Drake May and the Patriots. And it's one thing, and maybe this next 2 weeks changes your opinion. If somehow Jarrett Stidham wins a game or two, maybe it alters it. I actually don't think this conversation changes a whole lot if the Broncos win this weekend or lose this weekend, because when you have Jarrett Stidham playing instead of Bo Nix, it kind of is hard to project as much unless you're viewing it strictly from a Sean Payton conversation. Are the Broncos here to stay in the division in the AFC West? And I think they are, but I also don't believe we're about to see an AFC West 5-year run of dominance of division titles for the Broncos. I think this division is ultra competitive. The Chargers hiring Mike McDaniel should improve things for them a little bit. The Chiefs, I do think, will eventually bounce back. And the Raiders, we'll see. We'll see where they go. But the NFC East, for 20 years in a row, had a different winner every year up until this year. I think the AFC West could have stretches where it rotates around. I think the Chiefs run that they had, again, virtually unheard of other than the Patriots. I don't think the Chiefs are rattling off 7 in a row anymore, AFC West titles. But I don't think the Broncos or the Chargers are rattling off 4 or 5 in a row. No. So I think this is going to be an ultra-competitive division. And with Sean Payton and the defense they're probably still going to have for at least the next 2 years there in Denver, yeah, I think the Broncos are here to stay in the conversation for the division. Are they going to be consistently the number 1 seed? I don't know about that.
I think they're here. I think that they are a problem for the only length of time you can for sure be confident they're a problem is 2 years. Because otherwise, Bo Nix has got to take a big step forward. Right now, he is Mr. I won't screw this up for you. I'm just what he is. Now, look, Russell Wilson was that in his early going in Seattle and then developed and took a step forward and became something else. So it's not like you can't, at least for a stretch of time. So it's not that you can't shift gears, and Tom Brady was that, honestly. And I'm not saying that Bo Nix is Tom Brady, but Tom Brady was that his first couple of years. I won't screw it up for you, and in the big-time moments, I'll make big-time plays. I still don't think they have long-term options of sustained success in the offensive weapon room, and I still think defenses, at maximum, historically, usually got about 3 years, maybe tops, if you're an elite defense. If you're just a really good defense, you could fall off in a year, 2 years. It could happen quick. So I think Denver's like, yeah, they're an issue for the next couple of years, but do I fear them for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career? Not yet. Not yet. They're not there yet. The Raiders aren't there yet, and the Chargers certainly haven't earned any right to do that. None of the teams in the division are for sure an issue for the entirety of the Mahomes run. The way I would say, if I were Josh Allen, I'd be worried Drake May and the Patriots are going to be a problem for my ass for the next 10 years.
But the last 15 years, so it was the Chiefs from 2016 to 2024. This year, the Broncos. Then prior to that, remember, the Broncos won it for 5 years in a row. Then the Chiefs. Then it was the Chargers for 4. Then it was the Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders for 3, Seahawks. I guess it's more likely to be, what this kind of stretch. 1990 was the Raiders, 91 Broncos, 92 was the Chargers, 93 was the Chiefs, 94 is back to the Chargers, 95 it was the Chiefs, 96 it was the Broncos, literally rotate, 97 it was back and forth. It's way more likely to be that than could the Broncos win next year and go back to back? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely they could.
You're just saying they're not winning 4 in a row.
I don't think anybody is. I don't think in this next decade we're going to see any one team in the West win 4 in a row.
Which would make them every other division in football. I mean, this year, the only division that had a repeat champion was the Eagles. That's it. Every other single one had a different winner. The Jags stepped up, the Broncos stepped up, the Patriots stepped up, and they had a long run too. Let's not forget that the Bills were on a long run of winning their division consecutively too. It wasn't just the Chiefs. They had been on quite the streak as well. I just think the Broncos only have their roster is only set up to be for sure successful for the next 2 years, unless Bo Nix is a lot better than the game manager he appeared to be for a huge chunk of this season. And I will give them credit. They built a good roster, even though they're paying a quarterback. This isn't just one of those.
Russell Wilson's on
This
those
isn't
books.
the Drake May situation. They are paying a quarterback actively right now. They're just not going to get a lot of those. Normally, you get a few cheap years because you get the first couple of years of paying Drake May too, and it's like, imagine how much more talented they get. This one's crazy. I think they'd be Super Bowl favorites if they just had 2 more players worth of Russell Wilson's contract on their books.
This is where they've drafted well over the last couple of years. I mean, you got to give them credit there. I mean, and even the running back who got hurt this year, R.J. Harvey, who was someone we actually talked about during the draft process as a potential name in Kansas City. When he's been healthy, he's been effective. Now, this weekend, has anybody seen an update for that? I know J.K. Dobbins, they opened up his practice window. Do we know if he's
I haven't seen
if he's playing? He was playing really well the first month-ish of the season.
The J.K. Dobbins story.
Yeah, I know. He can't stay healthy.
By the way, the text line is now asking, wouldn't you just trade Cortland Sutton straight up for Rice? I think they're comparable. I think those are, I don't really care. I would take Rice because he's younger, I guess.
Well,
those are very comparable.
I would take
wide receivers.
so I would take Cortland Sutton. Now, right now, I'm not paying Rice any money. That's the benefit. But let's just say, like, if you're just asking me if they're on the same contract, then Cortland Sutton would be my answer, actually. But
Wouldn't be
the Rice head egg / the contract part of it, that's what you would have to weigh. If you're just saying the money's equal, I would go Sutton. Cody, we just all agreed that we would not give Rashee Rice an extension because of everything that's been going on. So doesn't that answer the question right away anyway?
Yeah, I'm sorry. If we're including off the field stuff, the answer is Sutton. I thought we were just talking about
just like a one game for one game.
I thought we were just talking quality of wide receiver. And what I'm going to say is I think Rashee Rice is as good of a wide receiver as Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, two different. You're right. Two different. The text line said, "Would you trade Rice for Sutton?" And I'm saying yes.
I thought they were just meaning like offensive weapon wise. I guess. Yeah.
If we're just saying one game this weekend, who would you rather have? It's a much closer conversation. I think let's not downplay who Cortland Sutton is. That's all.
I think Rashee Rice is a better wide receiver.
Could he be Cortland Sutton if he got his what together and didn't have any problems and stuff? Sure, absolutely.
Sutton has 3 1,000-yard seasons. Obviously, Rice has 0.
Right.
But Rice averages more yards per game, more touchdowns per season, more yards per catch. So, like,
he's also got Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball instead of Bo Nix.
Yeah, and won all the
and
other
a run first offense,
and the ragtag group of losers he had before Bo Nix.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah, I mean, who was his quarterback his rookie year? 2018. I mean,
but so his yards per game the last 2 seasons when he got a competent quarterback and a competent coach, 63.6, 59.8, and during that same time, Rashee Rice is averaging 72 and 71, 58. The second best season from Cortland Sutton in his career is actually what Rashee Rice averaged his rookie season.
No, again, I think they can be the same.
I think he's as talented as Sutton.
I think they can be the same player if you get rid of the reality of all the mess.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're answering that you wouldn't give Rice the contract extension, then it's an easy answer. You would trade for Sutton.
I thought they were just meaning on because I said I don't trust the future of the Broncos' weapons, and they're like, don't you think? Essentially, I took it as, don't you think Sutton is better than Rice?
Gotcha.
And talent-wise, I don't.
Gotcha.
I think
they're about the same.
I think, yeah, borderline, they're comparable to each other. They are like almost the same level. As in, you sure wish you had a better number 1 wide receiver than Cortland Sutton or Rashee Rice, but you can do a lot worse than that being your number 1 wide receiver as well. That's just like, I don't know, my general view of the situation. Rice's issues I have for him is he's a knucklehead, where he's gotten in quite a bit of trouble, and he's now missed an entire season due to injury. Sutton did that eventually too. It was just in year 6 or 5 or whatever. I think Rashee Rice will have multiple 1,000-yard seasons in the NFL, I guess is what I'm saying.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold, you, Drew, text line 913-586-7965. As always, like and subscribe on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Stay up to date with the video of the show as well. Today, the Oscar nominees were announced. We'll keep the question simple, and you can answer on the text line or over on those chats that we were just talking about. The full list is out for Best Picture. The movies are One Battle After Another, Marty Supreme, Begonia, Sentimental Value, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, The Secret Agent, Train Dreams, and Sinners. So the question I have for you is, how many of the Best Picture nominees have you seen? Or, if you've, and I guess, how about this? How many have you seen? And are you the type of person that now that the nominee list is out, that you at least attempt to see some of the Best Picture nominees. Drew, how many have you seen? I'll start with you because you don't watch very many movies.
Seen 0.
None?
Heard of multiple.
Heard of. Like, as in you were familiar that it is a movie.
I think if I had to pick who's going to win, probably Sinners, just because of the reaction, and obviously Michael B. Jordan's great. I like Timothy Chalamet too, but I think
Ryan Coogan.
Sinners, yeah, he's great.
First off, that movie was awesome.
Sinners probably wins.
It was great. I think it's going to be
the favorite is One Battle After Another or whatever. That's the favorite to win it. Some of the betting markets. To answer your question, no, I have not seen any of them.
0 for you too?
I have heard of 4 of them. I do plan on, though, watching multiple before.
So you'll go through and watch them.
I already looked. 2 of them, at least 2 of them are on HBO Max. So I can watch Sinners there, and I can watch
One Battle After Another, maybe?
I think that's right. So
no, F1's on Apple, I think.
is definitely an Apple thing, and I have Apple, so I can probably knock out 4 or 5 of these without having to like spend a dime, and can watch it from home. And this weekend the weather's going to suck, so maybe that's a good thing to do Saturday afternoon. I don't know, or Friday night a little bit.
Which one do you want to see the most?
Sinners, probably, because I've heard the most about it.
So I've only seen 2, admittedly, which is actually kind of surprising.
Everybody says F1 is great. So I don't know.
I couldn't believe you. I can't believe you haven't seen F1, Drew. You
I
love
haven't.
IndyCar
The motorsports
racing.
guy.
You love motorsports.
I
It's
love
shot
racing.
in the style that like you would appreciate the real racing that takes place. I'm stunned you didn't just stumble upon it.
I don't know. I'm not a movie person. But I probably
I still
do
think
need
that's
to
like somebody
watch
saying like
F1.
I don't like music, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like everybody watches movies.
Yeah, I think the music thing is more crazy than the movies, but I can understand that. I can understand that. I would probably, out of all the ones to watch, probably watch
Text line says 0.
F1 or Marty Supreme.
Text line says 0, and I'm not going to see any. Never seen one, won't watch any. Someone says seen 4. F1 is an amazing movie, so maybe that was their favorite. Someone says they've seen 6 of them from the 816.
Wow.
And they said Begonia is the best. That's the one that I'm kind of embarrassed I didn't see. Because of all the
What's
Best
that
Picture
one
nominees,
about?
Begonia, that is Emily Stone. She's like a powerful businesswoman. She gets kidnapped by the guy who plays Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
She gets kidnapped because he thinks she's an alien from outer space trying to like indoctrinate him. And it's like, it's apparently very good. It looks excellent, and I would like to see it. I just didn't get around to it. I like movies, Drew. I have a hard time getting to them as much as I want because of the kids and life and busicness and all this other
It's
stuff.
just not I don't go to movies for
I've not seen Marty
my
Supreme
attention
either.
as much.
Timothy Chalamet, I'm getting a little exhausted of his shtick.
Chalamet
His thing. I'm getting a little tired of his. I don't know, man. He's just like I don't know. I'm just like a little tired of how much he's been in the public eye. I'm like, I don't know.
My
I'm
wife,
not like looking to see everything Timothy Chalamet.
my wife is too, but for another reason. He's with a Jenner and a part of the Kardashian family. And she's like, it's.
Yeah, that's also
You know,
off-putting, I gotta say. Anybody who dates a Jenner, it's questionable decision-making at this stage.
That's why she doesn't care for Timothy Chalamet.
So, like, I'm not in a hurry, I guess, is what I'm saying to see Marty Supreme. Even though it's probably excellent.
Sinners has 18 Oscar nominations. It's the most in Oscar history. So that's probably why it's on the list that I want to see, if it's got that many nominations.
Sinners is the one, Drew, you should absolutely see. Although maybe you don't like, I don't know, like, because it is like, it's not horror, I'm not, that's the right description for it, but like, it's in that, thriller.
It's listed as horror action.
Okay, so
yeah,
like,
I think that there's levels to it where I don't gravitate to those movies. Now, obviously, Coogan is great, and Michael B. Jordan is great. Haley Steinfeld is great. Like all of those people I can recognize, but also if a movie is not for me, I'll stay away from it. And yeah, the horror genre is not for me.
I guess as a follow-up to this, are there actors like that where you just, because it's another, like of the 2 that I've seen, one of the other ones I haven't seen is One Battle After Another, which got great reviews, and I should probably watch it. But that's another one where like, I'm like kind of tapped out on anything Leonardo DiCaprio does, in the sense that I'm like, I feel like I've seen enough Leonardo DiCaprio movies for the rest of my life.
Not that you gravitate to them, but actually you're pulled away from the movie because they're in the movie.
And I'm like, I don't need to see another Leonardo DiCaprio movie. I'm at maximum Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm good. And it's not even like, I'm not saying the movie doesn't look good or anything like that. It's just, sometimes you get to this breaking point. It's like, this is another one. I don't feel like I need to see another Scorsese movie for the rest of my life. I'm good. I've seen enough.
What?
And just like, I want to see different directors or different actors or
Christopher
different
Nolan?
people.
Are you on the same line of Christopher Nolan?
Didn't really push me
like
off of that.
Tarantino?
I'm going to try to come back around because the new one that comes out this year looks excellent. So I'll
The
probably,
Odyssey?
Yeah, so maybe I'll give it a shot. But it's like, and it doesn't happen with every actor because it's not like there aren't other people who've been as many stuff as Leo. But sometimes you just get to a point you're like, I don't need to see another DiCaprio movie. I'm like, all right.
I do think there's
I'm
people
just
who
like,
are.
fine.
I do think there's people who are overrated. Like in terms of like,
Who's yours?
Probably George Clooney. I don't think George Clooney is as good as. I don't think Clooney's as. I don't. His movies are fine. He's a good actor, but I don't think he's. I don't watch a movie because George Clooney's doing the movie. It's gonna be like I gotta watch it.
There's definitely name rec definitely will get my interest a little bit, but honestly, so much of it truly is just the simple. Like, do I think the plot of the movie is interesting? Like, as much as we talk about hyping up a particular actor or a particular director, for me, a lot of it, like, do I think the plot sounds interesting at all? Like
more than anything,
like, if I'm like, okay, this
so
plot,
my guess is you're not going to watch Hamnet.
Probably not.
Do you know what it's about?
Well, I have a rough idea, but I don't know.
It's I believe it's like a biographical, historical interpretation of like Shakespeare's life or something.
Yeah, so I'm good. I'm good.
You're not interested in that.
Someone said Ben Stiller. I can't watch it. I don't mind. I'm
That's
fine.
only
I've
what I
seen
kinda
another one
remember.
of
I
him.
think that's what it is. What's that?
Brad Pitt. Someone says is extremely overrated. I think Brad Pitt's a little overrated. I guess I haven't seen as many Brad Pitt movies as others. I think he's fine, but I don't.
Of the ones I've seen, I think Sinners was the best, but I've only seen
Someone
two.
says one
So I'll
battle
try to
after
watch
the
more.
Yeah, Ryan
one battle
Coogler
after
is
is
great.
atrocious. Their wife and them couldn't get past the first 15 minutes. Disgusting is what they said.
And we've talked about this before. One battle after another is 2:45. I would quit my job. Should I put my kid?
Stop!
Should I get a babysitter for my kids?
You're not that busy. Stop! You can't watch 2 hour and 45-minute movie
3
at home.
hours?
At home. Stop!
I'm supposed to give up 3 hours?
I've given up
We
3
need to
hours of my
tighten
time
these
for a
up.
movie.
You
multiple
tighten
times.
these up.
You watch movies you've even said over multiple days, which is
I
wild
do
to
that.
me.
Oh, I have to do that.
I
now.
can't do
Almost
that.
exclusively
HBO
watch
once.
them over multiple days.
So you wouldn't be able to just sit down and watch Endgame if you wanted to.
I
if it was
watched
on.
one last month while I was doing stuff. I watched it like on an iPad because like an action movie. I'm not going to do that, but I watched a movie that I wanted to watch on an iPad, and because it was between like doing dishes or working on stuff, I watched it over 4 days.
What?
So
It was like 30 minutes at a time.
So you would never like if you watched Oppenheimer, you would not be able to get through the entire movie in one day.
Gold can say you're not
possible.
that busy. I would say that it is very rare that I have 3 continuous hours to watch something unless I'm going to stay up till midnight.
Well, yeah.
And like I'm not staying up till midnight to watch one battle after another. I'm not that committed.
But like today, it's not like I'm going to go home and from 3 to 6 o'clock
But
tonight
you
watch a
could.
movie. And I'm not going to do that either. And I don't have kids. I'm not going to do it. For me, if I'm going to watch a movie tonight, I'm going to put the movie on like 8 o'clock tonight, and I'll watch it till 11:30, and I'll go to bed.
So
that's probably like honestly tonight. There's nothing else going on tonight. So tonight seems like a great night to pick one of these, and I might watch it.
So which one? What are you going to watch tonight, Gold? You can give us a movie review tomorrow.
I think Sinners might be on the list tonight because it's on HBO Max, and I already have HBO Max, so it's easy to access.
I really liked Sinners.
F1, I think I'll like. I'm just not in the mood to really watch that tonight. I don't know. Like, I'm just like,
I'll just be honest with you. I'm pretty confident the next time I'm on an airplane, F1's going to be the airplane watch. Like, it's on a screen.
okay.
It's probably safe. Like, good enough. I catch movies sometimes like that where you're like, yeah, all right, I'll watch
Someone
it.
said, Cody, football's 3 hours. You managed to figure that out.
That's part of my job.
But you're what? Oh,
Hey, I
it
think-
is.
I- that's a fair point.
But it's
I
a
think
fair
that's a-
point.
that's
It's
a
a
fair
fair point,
point.
though, because yes, it's part of our job, but also like you're going to watch 6 hours of football on
Here's the thing.
Sunday, aren't you?
Here's the thing.
Are you?
I would tell you, like, so I don't sit down and watch 6 consecutive hours of football very often. The way you might sit down and watch Red Zone, I do other stuff. I'm like
No,
actively
I'm
doing
talking about
other
this
things.
Sunday. Will you watch both games?
I assume so, yes. But also, like, that's where the problem is created. Like, for instance, today, all right, Cody, I'm going to watch a 3-hour movie. Great. I'm here all day. I go straight to UMKC, and then I go pick up my daughter from dance. I am home at now 7 p.m. I will then eat dinner, bathe children. It'll be 8:30 or 9 o'clock. I'm not starting one battle after another. No chance. All right, tomorrow I have a chance. Now,
What about Friday night?
I'm tiling my backsplash. So this weekend I can't. I'm not saying never.
Yeah, you're paying. It's not like you're doing
Friday.
tiling every weekend. This is a one weekend problem.
Friday is probably my best opportunity. In any given week, Friday is probably my best opportunity. Saturday, the kids got tennis and dance, so that makes it a little bit more of a challenge. And it's also just pretending like I also can't watch some movies while my children are awake.
Totally get that.
So
Yeah.
I can't,
Understood.
I'm not popping on Game of Thrones episodes while my 7 and 9-year-olds are up.
No?
Okay. And so sometimes what happens is I watch, and then I watch a 1-hour show or something. Like I'm watching The Pit. I got to wait till they go to bed so I don't have to watch Dislocated Shoulders,
Yeah. Okay. That's the random question of the day. I now got a list of movies to watch.
I'll just watch it in chunks. That's all. It's not usually
I got a list of movies to watch.
Someone said, well, Papa, you were going to have Drew put up your tile so you
That's
can
true,
watch it.
Drew, you do that. Cody can watch the movies. Be perfect.
Apparently, since I'm not going to watch these movies anyway, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
Up next, though, let's talk a little bit more about Patrick Mahomes and his play moving forward in his career. And Professor Tapp, unfortunately, I don't know, is back.
How do you want to look at it?
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Dane and Hughes here, and it's playoff time, and there's no better place to bet the chase for the championship than Circa Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be. Whether you're betting championship or conference futures, sides, totals, or prop bets for every round, there's no better place to make your bets throughout January all the way to the big game. Circa Sports, with high app limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, we were too nice to say no. Now get a small coffee, just 99 cents. Limited time only. See store for details.
And Doug.
What a horrible call. Hey, ref, open your eyes!
Ref, you're really not going to call that? Come on!
Hey, ref, why don't you customize your car insurance with Liberty Mutual and save money?
I don't think you get what we're doing.
Sure I do. We're all just giving him advice. You guys on sports, me on saving money.
Nope, that's not it.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Chiefs offseason show with Bob, Dusty, Cody, Alex, and CDOT is Tuesday, February 10th, starting at 9 a.m. right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
1 o'clock here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the latest edition of Professor Tapp. He started his semester once again at UMKC, teaching yesterday, I believe it was, or 2 days ago, I'm sorry.
Almost canceled class because of a plumbing emergency across the hall.
And so he's back for a lesson. Mixed reviews in the fall semester. Rate my professor ratings, not good in the first semester. Some lessons definitely better than others. And we'll have a new lesson. And Drew and I have no idea what direction the lesson is today. So that
I didn't tell you.
It's more fun that way, I think.
It is more fun, but it also is terrifying at the same time that we let this happen. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's a little bit worrisome probably for you. Someone said I missed the opportunity to mention the K-pop Demon Hunters was up for Best Original Song with Golden.
That doesn't surprise me one bit. That doesn't surprise me
Are you
one
kidding?
bit. It's going to win, isn't it?
They had 3 songs in the top 10 in the world for a stretch. If you have that, honestly, I think it's kind of offensive. If
I'm
you
surprised
don't
it's not getting. I guess it makes sense because it's a movie, or a show, but it's also like a Grammy potentially nomination too. I don't know.
Yeah, there's all that kind of stuff. My kids, I don't know if they've watched as much recently. They still listen to music though.
So we'll get to Professor Tapp here in a couple of minutes.
It's not about K-pop.
Don't forget, thank goodness. Don't forget, coming up on Tuesday, February 10th, we'll have our Chiefs off-season show. Everybody's going to be in studio. We'll have Bob, Dusty, CDOT, along with myself and Cody in studio from 9 a.m. to 11 on the 10th of February for a off-season show. We'll be talking all things Chiefs. By then, maybe have a clearer picture about Travis Kelce's long-term future in Kansas City if he's coming back. Plus, we'll probably get into what we're going to discuss right now, which is, on one hand, we discuss the offense as a whole and what you would like to see. But for Patrick Mahomes, as far as the development goes and the scheme and all that, so much of that is also which OC, in this case, Eric Bieniemy, and quarterback coach and Andy Reid, there are some things and tendencies that no matter how many rings you have, no matter the fact that you're going to be a Hall of Famer and all that, it doesn't mean that you can have some bad tendencies. And as much as we say develop wide receivers, and it looks like, Chad O'Shea is going to be a great guy for that, based on his track record.
At least based on the
who's going to clean up some of the footwork that some of the former quarterbacks have brought up and pointed out about Mahomes? Who's going to bring up some of the issues with the deep ball? Is it something that the wide receivers are doing wrong, or is it Patrick Mahomes is struggling to connect on deep passes? Who's going to coach him up there? We've all talked about it, but this is where it's on EB. This is where it was on Matt Nagy. This is where it's going to be on Andy Reid to get some of this stuff figured out.
I will say, since his rookie season, this is his second worst touchdown to interception ratio in his league, in his career. His completion percentage was down. His yards per game were down. And once again, his yards per target, not where you want them to be. Yards per attempt up from last year, but still way below where he was at his peak. I think if you're talking about regression, the single area he's regressed the most is pocket awareness. I think he got spooked by years of getting chased around with a bad offensive line, and it created some really nasty habits. Ones that they're going to have to work on pretty hard, I think, this offseason to crack, because in addition to that, he's also going to have the natural couple game fear of that first couple times you get hit, post a very severe near knee injury, and recovering from it. But if you look at some of the other stuff, he's not that far off from what he had been. What has gone down is how often he throws touchdowns and how far he throws the ball down the field. Can you get the deep ball back, which I think he's regressed there too, by the way, his ability to throw a deep ball. And can you be better in the red zone? Because that is, I don't know, in a weird way, we discussed it a lot 2 years ago, I think, Gold, but they won the Super Bowl, so we just kind of buried it. Maybe under-discussed over the last 3 years of offensive issues. They are way worse in the red zone. And his decision-making has gotten worse as a result of that. He threw as many red zone picks as pretty much any quarterback in the NFL this year, including a couple of absolutely devastating ones, bad ones, I would say. The one to Devin Lloyd, just didn't see him. What was the one down the sideline? Maybe he was trying to throw it to Travis Kelce, where he was throwing off his back foot and just kind of laid one into the defender's hands halfway through the season. Red zone decision-making, pocket awareness. There are things I think Patrick Mahomes can get better at this offseason. But he's going to have to do it watching tape. That's tough, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some things they cleaned up. Someone points out, too, the deep pass thing is obvious for everybody, but I still wonder if we agree that some of the receivers struggle with tracking the ball, then how much is it on him? How much is on them?
It's
is
a
it on Mahomes?
combination.
Because Mahomes was connecting with Tyquan Thornton. He was connecting, but not connecting with Xavier Worthy. Who do we think that's more on, Worthy or Mahomes? I still think it's on Xavier Worthy. But that's where the development on the receiver end has to get better. And it's probably, like most things, a combination of both. But I do think a lack of trust in the offensive line has been something that's hard to get over with as much as he's been hit over the last year or two.
He's just not getting the ball down the field. And I think sometimes if you don't attempt passes down the field, you aren't used to making those deep passes. You can do as much time as you want in training camp and in practice. If you aren't getting real live reps with real live receivers trying to catch it while being targeted, you're just not going to find those things. Like if you go back through to 2024, he ranked in the bottom third. If you go back to this year, he ranked in the bottom third. That can't be all wide receivers. Some of that is you got to hit guys that are open. And the consistent thing, and you and I agree on this, this is purely an eye test thing. I don't have a stat for this one.
Okay.
But you and I watch this all the time. He's always overthrowing. His issue is not leaving it short and the guy can't fight for the ball. He overthrows a lot. Way too much. So to me, that is a simple adjustment. More air on the ball or changing your target point on these deep passes to be, 2 yards short of where you are, a yard and a half short of where you have been throwing it. And so those can go there. Yeah, sure. It could be helped by if Xavier Worthy understood how to fight for a football. And because there are multiple times when he did underthrow, and maybe this is why this is the same thing as the offensive line stuff. When he did underthrow, did his wide receivers ever do anything for him? Almost feels like he probably has to hit him in stride sometimes because those guys just aren't helping.
Yeah. Tyquan, so if we did not have evidence of some success early in the year with the deep pass to Tyquan Thornton, then I would be way more on the camp of it's all just Mahomes on the deep ball. But the fact that he did connect with Thornton, to me, says it's a little bit of a wide receiver problem. And for whatever reason, kind of goes back to the whole Connor Embry thing, Can Chad O'Shea, who worked with Wes Welker, who worked with Randy Moss and some of these greats, and Edelman, I guess, as well, right? Can he get Xavier Worthy to have a better understanding, whatever it is? Look, I didn't play football. I'm not a wide receiver coach. I don't know what you can do to fix it, but that's why these guys get paid money to figure it out. What can you do to allow Xavier Worthy to be a better tracker of the football? Yeah, some of it is natural, some of it is what it is, but you can still coach players up. And I don't think I don't think they were getting much of that with the prior wide receiver coach. I think so. That would help. We don't have to get in the whole Worthy discussion fully again. We did that last week.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to say he's a bust yet. We gave the reasons for it, but it's a massive year 3.
Yeah, I don't think you can even blame Mahomes. I think it's more of an Embry thing though, because if you go back, and I did this with Rasheed too, if you go back and you watch their college highlights, Quinn Ewers is throwing deep balls, and Xavier Worthy's tracking that thing and he's almost catching it over his shoulder. Like it looks.
Those
easy.
are highlights too. Is that the norm or those are one-offs?
That's what he was. No, Xavier Worthy was a home run hitter in college. Rasheed Rice, they don't run him deep down the field like Tyquan Thornton. That's all he did in college, and that's why I think that either it's an Embry. I don't know if it's a scheme thing more than a Mahomes thing, but there's moments where it feels and they just can't get the chemistry down. But it feels like the guys that have the talent to go and make those plays down the field, either they're not using them or. Because what we're seeing, what you look at in college, Xavier Worthy went and tracked the deep ball very well on a regular basis when Quinn Ewers is throwing him the football. And it's hard to understand how it can't work when you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback and Andy. It doesn't make any sense. How is it not transitioning when you see him going deep and Quinn Ewers lobbing the ball up and he goes and tracks it perfectly fine, but then he can't track a deep ball with Patrick Mahomes? It makes no sense.
I just think they just gotta slow down the RPOs. And it's not saying get rid of. I'm not saying they have to completely change, because there are some of the offensive stats we gave earlier where I would say there is some effectiveness to it, which is probably why they're not in a hurry to change some of those things. But what I'm saying is you got to lessen it. You got too crazy in the RPO game. You got obsessed with it, and it impacted your ability to get the ball down there. He also wasn't a good deep passer last year because he was on his ass. And look, I still think that they made a mistake. They didn't make a mistake because of part of the reason Patrick Mahomes got hurt was because by the time he was still playing in those games, he didn't have much of an offensive line left then either. By the time he got hurt, the offensive line was hurt again. And so they're going to have to work on the depth to get there.
I don't get the top text.
Stop getting players for Mahomes, get players for the Chiefs. What's that mean?
He's your franchise quarterback, and the quarterback's the most
You're saying
important.
don't get players that help Mahomes? I feel like that's the same thing. I think you're saying the same thing. Getting players for the Chiefs is getting players for Mahomes.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, I guess.
And if you're trying to say that they're just drafting players to help him, but that's what you're supposed to do. I would want my organization trying to get players that make my quarterback have the most success possible. And if you're saying, well, no, they need to draft everybody else and Mahomes makes them all better. Okay, that's a fine conversation. But like this idea that like the Chiefs are not drafting who is better for the team, they're just drafting for Mahomes. I disagree with that.
No, they just went out and they took straight up wide receivers.
Like they just took a bunch of Texas Tech players. Although this year I'll take David Bailey. In the past, they would have just taken Texas Tech players and guys that Mahomes was friends with all the time. That's a different conversation, but that's not what they've been.
No. You should draft players to your quarterback's skill set. Like, if your quarterback is a check down artist, you should get yak guys. I mean, it just is what it is. Like, help yourself and your system operate at its highest conceivable level. I don't know why we would want to pretend like that wouldn't be in the best interest of the team and the coaches and all that other stuff. It seems kind of silly.
A lot of people are mentioning the offensive line, and is there enough time given to get the deep pass going? I think at times that was an issue, but this offensive line, while we don't have to act like it's the greatest O-line ever.
When they were all together this year, they were good.
We don't need to act like it's the greatest O-line, but it is plenty good to have a deep passing game.
Come on now.
I don't think... I don't think that now that might get back into the Mahomes needs to understand he has more time than he thinks he has.
Yeah,
that was a Romo was calling him out on the broadcast for it essentially multiple times.
He might have more.
Remember that?
Yeah, he might have more time, and that's the trust your O line. You have more time than you think you have, kind of thing. But in general, I don't think the O line is why the deep passing attack is gone.
I also don't want this conversation to make it because we're just talking about the things he can improve on. Please don't get it twisted to think that I don't think Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback on the planet. I do. But because of that, and because he's one of the most talented players to ever play, and this is where I think this is why I think people get frustrated by Josh Allen. They talk about Josh Allen like he is a singular talent. We've never seen anybody play quarterback like him. That's actually Mahomes. I've seen quarterbacks as talented as Josh Allen play football before. I have not seen a person like Mahomes in a long time, or it's been Brady in the winning ways and all this other stuff. I want them to maximize his window. I think Patrick Mahomes is the most talented quarterback in the league. If he fixes a couple more things, well, maybe there's 3 more rings coming to Kansas City. This is about like the perfectionism. With him, I am seeking perfectionism. How can he improve in the couple of areas that he is not as good
for sure
as other guys?
I agree with that. I still think, though, we don't have to get back into the OC conversation stuff, but yes, Mahomes, can he work on stuff? Absolutely. You also need to make sure your scheme is assisting him in doing so. Like, yes, he is the guy that ultimately has to elevate players and all that, but you mentioning the RPO stuff, the reason why that doesn't also work is going back to our running back conversation and how they're not explosive there. And so your scheme, all of it, this is why they were a mess. That's why the offense was a mess last year.
I guess
because it's a lot of different things that are not working together, I should say, and it leads to an ineffective offense. I understand some of the metrics will say they were middle of the road. That's fine, but that's not what when you have Patrick Mahomes, middle of the road is not what you're looking for.
At the exact same age he is now, Tom Brady went through a stretch like this where he was pretty mediocre. 28, 26, 24 touchdowns. These are the 3 years before he tore his ACL. And had 4,800 yards and 50 touchdowns the year before. But 36, 41, 35, touchdowns all in the 30s. Interceptions the exact same amount as Patrick Mahomes over that 3-year stretch. Came back from the ACL. Again, still kind of average-ish, like the kind of season Mahomes would have had if he was healthy all year. 4,200 yards, 28 touchdowns, 13 picks. Very similar to Mahomes' numbers last year. Then he started taking off again. So, like, you can reset and rebound, and you can have years. He still had a year when he was 36 where he only had 25 passing touchdowns and 4,200 yards. You can have seasons or stretches like that. It's all just about how do you rebound and re-find some of that. Mahomes has got to get back to occasionally having 40 touchdown, 5,000-yard seasons or whatever's comparable. It doesn't have to be 5,000 yards, but you know what I mean.
Last thing on this before we get to Professor Tapp, 913-586-7965. Someone said, we're all blaming Reed for scheme issues. What I haven't heard is anyone asking has the league figured out Patrick Mahomes instead of Reed? Is Reed catering everything to Mahomes' strengths as possible?
Super Bowls before this season, though.
I also, if we're talking about one of the all-time great quarterbacks, same thing would be applied to Brady as well. No, I do not think the league has figured out Patrick Mahomes. I think they have figured out the scheme, which he is also partially to blame for that, and tendencies. This, You're not that good of a quarterback, and then suddenly the whole league is figured out, and you're just average the rest of your career.
Not for that long.
That just doesn't happen with these top tier guys. Now, if you want to throw out unproven guys, C.J. Stroud had a great first year, and then something changed, or sure, unproven guys. Drake May, I guess it could happen until we see more of a track record. But whether it's the league is not figuring out Joe Burrow, the league's not going to ever figure out Josh Allen. Yeah. It's not going to ever figure out Mahomes. Doesn't mean they'll be as good as they were initially. No,
they just get worse.
There's a lot of factors. I don't think the league has figured out any of these top guys. No, I really don't. All right, let's get to Professor Tapp.
Welcome to the classroom. Whether it's cooking lessons, singing lessons, or how to commit a heist, this guy wants to teach you what he knows. Well, what he thinks he knows. It's not Cody to you. It's Professor Tapp.
You guys are always critical of me.
Welcome to class. Oh, boy.
Sorry.
Back in class.
Winter break is over. We're back in class. Are you guys going to show up this semester?
Well, we'll see.
No skipping.
If the class is interesting, I might keep showing up.
Class?
Well, I almost did last semester.
Drew, are you dropping?
I don't drop classes.
Have you ever dropped a class?
The listeners came very close to dropping the class.
They really did last year.
We're seeing, the university is seeing if you make it another semester.
Oh, I'll take a little input. For the first class this semester, 913-586-7965. What are some of the types of lessons you would like to learn? I had a fun lesson plan today, but you guys are always accusing me of teaching you things you don't want to learn.
Well, is the syllabus 15 pages for us too?
So instead, we're learning something that's important today. We're learning about making sure your pipes don't freeze. Are you happy? Are you all happy? I have the 10 most important tips for how to keep your pipes from freezing as the winter storm and cold weather is coming to Kansas City this weekend. Are you prepared?
I might know some of these, but yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you know what? Actually, that's a great thing. A little pre-test. Let's find out where your knowledge is. Can you guys try to guess at a couple things you think might be on the list?
You drip your faucets at night.
Yeah, there you go. That is on the list.
The cabinet door open or whatever.
Cabinet door open under the sink. Correct.
Yeah, thank you.
That's two.
Yeah.
That's about the extent of what I know.
That's what we got.
I guess you could wrap your pipes if you have those kind of things.
Number one, insulate your pipe. That is correct. Yeah. If you don't have that little foam stuff, Gold,
I don't.
Maybe get a towel or something. Get something on those pipes. Also, it's important that when you drip your pipe, not just the cold water, not just the hot water, a little both. You don't want one side freezing.
All right.
You want both. If you got one of those center faucets, right in the middle. Warm, lukewarm, tepid. And all the faucets, not just the one closest to the basement, man.
What's funny?
Getting on the second floor.
Me.
Yes?
As I noticed you're teaching this lesson, would you agree that you're never allowed to teach us if all of a sudden you come in Monday and tell us your pipes froze?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get your money back, I guess, in the class if that happens. The other part, keep your thermostat at the same temperature. You know how some people either turn their thermostat up or down at night, try to save a little money when they're gone. Well, I don't want it as hot if I'm going to be gone all day. No. We're keeping that thing toasty. Keeping your house toasty this weekend. Also open not just your cabinet doors, all your doors is what they say. So if you got a bedroom doors open, closet doors open, allow the air to flow through so everywhere is staying warm. The under cabinet's important too, Gold.
Yeah, the under cabinet.
But all cabinets to go in there. You can insulate and all that stuff. You're not going to do that. So I put it on there, but I don't think anybody's going to do that in the next 24 hours. So if you have time, you can do those things. Disconnect all outdoor hoses. Big mistake. Classic mistake. You can get a little cover storm.
Shouldn't that already been disconnected by now in Kansas City?
Yes, but there's someone right now who's like, oh, damn it. I forgot about that hose on the side of the yard. And didn't disconnect it.
Someone said they'll watch the video notes tomorrow on the class.
The video notes? That's over on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
You're just going to have to rewatch it outside of there. And then also, and I think maybe most importantly, know where your main water shutoff is. What I want you to do tonight is I want you to get inside your house and I want you to know where you turn off all the water to your place. Do you know where the main water shutoff is in your apartment?
So no.
There's still a water shutoff, isn't there?
Is there? Is there?
I haven't lived in an apartment in a while.
I don't know.
I would assume there's
they don't
some kind of water
The door
shutoff
to
in your house.
the furnace area is locked. You're not allowed in that, even in the apartment. Only they have a key for that. So
really?
I don't know
what
why.
What do they think you're gonna do? Take a hammer?
I don't know.
to it?
Honestly, when the air filter needs to be changed or whatever, the furnace filter, I'm not I have to call them to do it. The door is locked.
Oh, interesting.
In the apartment.
Someone says this feels like a father figure one. It's it leads into the
you
rest
can
of the
direct it to your student. You want to be a father figure to your student? Is that what you're saying? Go ahead, direct it to Drew.
In this case, Drew. Drew, did you know most of these?
I knew two of them.
Text line's asking, Cody, you said all doors. They want to know front door?
No, front door, keep that closed.
Okay.
Exterior doors, those can stay closed.
Interior ones. Okay.
Exterior doors, yeah, definitely keep those. You know, it depends. It depends on the part of the country you're in. Sometimes they build, in the Midwest, you're not allowed to build houses where the things are on certain walls without insulation. So it should be less likely to happen here, depending on when your house is built, versus Texas, who's going to get a huge freeze. they have a much bigger problem. You can put water heaters in garages. You can put them outside in different warmer climates. So they got a whole different issue. I don't think anyone from Texas happens to be listening to this.
Someone says, just fire up the kerosene heater in the living room, just like Grandpa and Grandma used to.
Also, you can get a space heater, and if you feel the pipes, because you're worried about it, they feel really cold, but they're not frozen yet, like you're getting a slow trickle of a water, you can also just crank a space heater on it for a little bit. I've done that.
Someone says from the 785, if you have a crawl space, especially if it's an older house, stick a space heater set at lowest setting. Save them from freezing pipes the last few winters.
Ooh, nice. Look, bonus stuff. I take advice from the class. Doesn't have to just be, we're all learning from each other, in a lot of ways. That's it. An actual real-life professor segment today where we try to do some
Will you
good.
give this same lesson at the beginning or end of your class tonight at UMKC? Just to remind your students.
To my students?
Yeah, just remind them, hey, just so you know, you might want to trip those pipes.
It feels like they'd be really confused by that.
You start the class, say, all right, real quick, I just want to give you guys a quick lesson on life and what to do in the wintertime, and you just did the exact same thing. You think they'd walk out on your class?
Yeah, maybe. Because we are in sports, I'm curious if you guys handle this the same way. So if I'm in a public setting and I hear people having a typical sports debate, this happened in my class on Tuesday, that's why I'm asking. Mm-hmm. I had two students saying, hey, do you think the Royals are going to get an outfielder? And they were going back and forth about whether they're going to have him. I'm like, I'm not doing this. So if you hear someone in public having a debate about sports, especially Kansas City sports, something you would, cover 20 hours a week on the radio, do you just stay out of it or do you insert yourself into the debate? This is really only a question for the three of us. I know other people might avoid it anyway. I just let those two kids talk about Royals outfielders. I didn't say anything about it.
Yeah, if I don't know the people, I stay out of it. Absolutely, I listen in a little bit, and that's it. But if it's among friends or whatever, I'm at a bar and everybody's hanging out, then I'll absolutely chime in. But random person having a conversation, they would have to say something just so ridiculous for me to chime in. I'm not going to do that.
From the text line, from the 913, does Cody make his actual students call him Professor Tapp? I get students asked every semester. Don't care. I just tell them I don't care. Call me whatever you want.
They call you Cody?
Some of them do, yeah. What's the difference? Who cares? I mean, what's the...
Some
call me Professor. I think that's probably the most common. They just say Professor in general. Hey, Professor. They don't... Very few Mr. Tapps. It's either Cody or Professor.
If you're talking about, like media, especially too, I always... there was one person in my media class, in any media class, that I called them like Professor Bridge or whatever. That's what I would call them. But everybody else is like, just call me my first name. It's fine.
Someone said, don't listen to the last extra tip from the text line. That person's going to get your house caught on fire.
Yeah, this is a good time. Legally speaking, these are all just advices from an idiot.
But anything Professor Tapp says, you can take that to the bank.
Be very careful. These are just my personal tips for what you can do to avoid freezing pipes. It's supposed to be so
it's gonna
miserable this weekend.
It's going to be awful. Yep, it's going to be a terrible weekend in Kansas City. It really is.
No one's going to enjoy it. We're all just going to be cold and in the house. I'm cranking the heat up. What do you keep the gauge at typically?
This weekend, it'll be... So normally, I'm a 72, 73.
You keep it hot! 72? Or is everyone keeping it that hot, or do I keep it cold? Wait.
Where do you keep it? I'm curious.
You answer yours first, and then I'll tell you what.
Like when I go to bed, I have it at 70.
Okay.
In the wintertime. We're talking right now? Yeah. In the summertime, it's different. Summertime, I have it set at 75.
When we're awake, it's on. When we go to bed, we turn straight up off. There's no heat on at all whatsoever. And then when we wake up, we'll turn it back on.
It was in an ice box.
But yeah, so
sometimes don't do that for the pipes though.
Yeah, like so this weekend, when I go to bed, it'll probably be at 77. Knowing the cold weather, it'll be 73, 74. Dude, but in the summertime, it's...
That's hot as hell.
Yeah,
I keep
that's
mine
really
at
warm.
67.
This winter... Oh.
You're like my parents.
72?
You're a lot like my parents.
And it's not to just like save money. It's just like 72. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'd be in shorts.
Yeah.
It's the Bahamas in my house.
65? Oh.
65 seems cold. That'd be like the tip of my nose.
They're at 62 when sleeping.
I keep it at 67 degrees. Someone says 60. 60. What do you, I mean... That's just uncomfortable. Like this is like the people who be like, I buy the 1-ply toilet paper. No, I don't.
In the summer,
thanks. I don't want to wipe my ass with sandpaper.
In the summertime, what do you have yours at? Now I'm curious. In the summer,
70
all night.
Again in the summer, 70. No, we turn it down at night because you can't sleep when it's hot, man. That's crazy.
No, in the summer,
74, 75. Probably the same range as you in the summer.
So it's the same temperature.
So you guys,
but not in the winter. So you guys I keep it cooler in the winter.
So you guys keep it on constantly.
Blankets on the couch, people. Yes,
you don't
don't turn off the heater.
You want to turn
at
it
night.
on. You don't want to turn it on and off anyway. That can end up
It's
actually.
bad, yeah.
I turn it on and off during like the summertime too. Like when we go to bed, like have the AC on to we'll turn the AC on, Cody, to like 70, and it gets chilly at 70 in our apartment, and then we'll go to bed and we'll wake up and it might be in the middle of the night and it's warm.
That's crazy.
Just deal with it.
No.
It's like 72 in the summer all times. Yeah, actually, that's probably about the summer temp.
75 is usually the summer temp. 67 in the winter.
Someone says 66 right now, and that's what they'll have all year.
This is a more private conversation. I need to see, how much is your bill? Like, how much is your electric bill?
I have an apartment, so it's different. Cody might treat it differently. He's got a house. For me, it's an apartment. Like, I'm not saying some months aren't more than others, but it's also a smaller space, so I'm able to do that. Like, if I had a house, maybe I would feel differently about having the temperature I have in the wintertime. But in an apartment, I mean, there is only so much it's going to cost me in an apartment. One bedroom apartment.
Anyway. Is it included at all?
Hell no.
Damn.
No.
I'm costing myself money by turning it on and off.
I think so.
Yes. You are. I also just think that, I genuinely think if I kept it at 72 in the winter, I'd be uncomfortable. It'd just be too hot.
Yeah,
I'm a blanket on the couch. I like having a blanket around.
Yeah.
You're still using a blanket at 72?
Yeah.
I mean, this weekend I might turn it up to 68. 69 maybe. I don't know.
But how do you sleep with do you wear I just sleep in underwear, that's it.
I sleep in shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, so I just sleep in underwear, so the temp doesn't bug me as much. Yeah.
It's warm enough.
Yeah.
I think most people, it appears, are in my range than yours. But maybe that's the home part. But somebody says 72 at all times, summer or winter.
There you go.
72 year round. They like the classic room temp.
Yeah.
Year round.
All right, up next, we'll get to what's trending and then a job that nobody seems to want in the NFL.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Paramount Plus is the new home of UFC, and we're coming out swinging with UFC 324.
Oh, what a shot!
And 325
Boom!
On back-to-back weekends. The new era is here.
It's time!
Every fight.
Bam! Let's go!
One subscription.
Oh my goodness!
Pay-per-view just got knocked out.
Let's go!
Back-to-back blockbuster UFC events this month only on Paramount Plus.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. 2026 is going to be your best year for sex. You know why? Because you're going to take the advice and try the chewable tablets from Blue Chew. Their tablets can help you feel and perform at your best, and their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient for your individual prescription, and you can be more confident where it counts. Blue Chew's a small chew for a big difference. You'll have flashbacks to your glory days. And look, showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. Be ready when she is. It's not just about performance either. Give your partner something to brag to their friends about, because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. You can discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's it. Go to BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti.
Number one on what's trending, keeping an eye on what's going on in Jefferson City today. The Missouri Gaming Commission expected to vote on whether or not perhaps they're going to ban collegiate player props. They already in Missouri do not allow props on Missouri athletes, so Missouri college football or basketball as far as props go. There are 19 states that have some sort of limitation. This all comes with some more pressure from the NCAA after the latest round of FBI federal indictments around sports wagering. So sounds like this is likely to pass today, but we'll see in, I don't know, I think the meeting might be at 2 o'clock. I'm not 100% on that.
Next up on What's Trending, the MVP finalists for the NFL have officially been announced. Obviously, Drake May and Matthew Stafford are on the list, as they are two of the people expected to be the favorites to win it. Christian McCaffrey, Trevor Lawrence, and Josh Allen round out the top five. They'll all be there for the NFL honors, we assume. Only two who can't be there, hypothetically, are Stafford and May, who could still play in the Super Bowl.
Just have an update on Jefferson City. Missouri regulators will not ban individual college player prop bets. They denied the NCAA request. They're going to continue to talk about may consider future action, but there you go. Not happening.
As of right now, no change.
Yep.
No change. Interesting. Do you think Stafford or May wins the MVP?
I think Stafford.
I think so, too. I think a lot of times they give you the, like he had equally as good of a season and they give you the honorary award, I think May's schedule is going to work against him. They're going to say he put up some of those numbers, and Stafford did it in the NFC West, which was an absolute bear of a division. Although, typically, Gold, as you'd said, you got to win your division to win the MVP. Stafford would be a weird exception to that, would he not? Didn't win his division. Seahawks
did not win his division. The exception would be also look how many games they won.
I know. I'm saying it's not common. You've never said, and I've never said that it's impossible.
It's a starting point. It's a very strong starting point.
Yeah, typically.
Elsewhere on what's trending, the Falcons, according to NFL Network, have requested permission to interview Chiefs assistant GM Mike Bradway for their GM vacancy. They have a different dynamic there in Atlanta with the new role they created for Matt Ryan, and they already have their head coach. So I'd be interested to see what kind of control their GM is going to have there. But another member of the Chiefs front office getting some attention. They've lost multiple members of the front office the last couple of years.
Yeah. Their stability and the consistency they've had in their front office was a real strong point for a number of years. He's only been the assistant general manager for a year because they lost Borgonzi. He got promoted from player personnel director, I think, up to assistant GM. Might already get another GM job, so we'll see. Next up on What's Trending, Bill Self, speaking to the media about 30 minutes ago, did say that it is an ankle sprain for Darren Peterson. Said he's hoping he'll be available to play on Saturday against the Kansas State Wildcats, but is not sure yet whether or not that will be the case. Obviously, the game just 2 days away for the Sunfellers Showdown. Drew does not know that cut. Drew, as someone who covers the local college teams, you should know a Sunfeller Showdown cut.
Sunfeller Showdown?
You think that's in our system still?
It might be.
Which one?
Sunfeller Showdown.
I don't.
Does it come across from like a southern accent?
I don't
from
think
whoever
so.
said it.
I don't know.
Damn, never gonna find it.
By the way,
where would it even be at?
While you're looking that up, lastly on what's trending,
I'm gonna try to find
Bob Costas is returning to NBC Sports, hosts Sunday Night Baseball pregame. I'm excited for Sunday Night Baseball to be on NBC. They typically do a good job of making every game seem big, like they've done for Sunday Night Football as well. Their whole presentation, I think, is really, really strong. The Royals, by the way, are on Sunday Night Baseball 3 times this year. Now it'll be on Peacock. So remember, NBC will have some of these in prime time, and a lot of them are going to be on Peacock, the streaming app.
Which I now learn has a teacher discount.
There you go.
Someone said they got 70% off of NFL Sunday Ticket.
Man, I gotta be using
As
this.
a teacher,
I gotta be
NBA
using
TV down too.
I gotta be using this teacher discount more.
You get Sunday ticket for
I am not taking advantage of it properly. Is all I know. That's what's trending here on
like
Cody Gold.
$100.
Drew, I did in the break, per your request, look up my electric bill. Do you pay level pay? I do. So I pay the exact same amount every month, no matter what.
I do the level. That way you don't get shocked when all of a sudden in July we have 12 straight days of 100 degrees and you decide
And
to,
I get it's
to
like
crank
gas
that
goes
AC
up,
down.
electric goes down, and all this other stuff. I just want to pay the same every month for the
It
bills.
would be nice, but ours varies. Not too much, but it varies. a
So
little bit.
I looked it up. My level pay just went up because energy prices are up for the upcoming year. And I will pay $10 more than I paid last year. So I'll pay $141 a month.
The most expensive,
For what, a 3-bedroom house, 4-bedroom house?
3-bedroom, 4-bath,
There you go.
2,200, I don't know, 2,300 square foot house.
Probably pretty standard stuff.
That didn't seem that bad, honestly.
No, it's not. For,
141,
for
that
house?
sounds
No.
okay. What do you pay? What's yours, Drew? Do you know?
For this
Electric, it should be nothing this month. I mean, or I guess maybe it's electric furnace. I take it back.
For this most recent month, it was 80.
No, see, I'm not getting off that bad at all.
Yeah, my 1-bedroom usually averages around 85 to 95.
I've got a nice furnace, so that helps. Got an efficient furnace and newer windows.
People don't think on the text line you should qualify for this
Says,
teacher
from
discount.
the 816, being a real teacher is required, Cody.
I mean,
I
you
agree.
said you just got to provide your paycheck from the university. So in fairness,
most of
you're
these
not
places,
breaking the
you just have
rules.
to
I
prove
think
that you
that's
teach.
fair.
Or like an email or something. If you have a UMKC email,
I do.
Well, then that's good enough for a lot of these.
I do.
Like a Cody Tap at UMKC.
Bancroft
EU.
Tap, the Professor
they have the whole
Bancroft
name?
You know
at
what's funny about my?
UMKC.
Do you know what's funny about my my teacher email? Is they just dug up my old student one and it's the same one. I didn't get like the professor email.
Makes sense.
It is my student ID number at umkc.edu.
That's great.
That's
great.
It's my university approved email. They're like, you went here 10 years ago? Close enough. You're in the system. Congratulations. Your email will be your student email from when you were here a decade ago.
Now everybody is texting in their price, their bills.
Someone says 182 for electric for me. Gas bill was 305.
All electric house, yeah. 305. Woo, gas. That's yeah.
Honestly, I don't feel like now I'm looking at these prices. I'm feeling better about mine. Again, whatever the guy who owned the house before us works for a local heating and cooling company. He put in the Cadillac of furnace and AC systems. That man,
Someone explain this.
It's in their brochure when they go to your house to work on your furnace.
Someone explain this one for me. This is from the 785, and then we'll move on. Someone says level pay is for suckers. Please explain. Please explain. Honestly, please explain me when the dollar amount. When the dollar amount. No,
I guess I'm floating them free money during parts of the year, but they're floating me free money other parts. So I don't know.
Yeah, I get. How's it for suckers? They're not. I would love to know.
So I will.
If you're at the same property for over 12 months, it's gonna level out.
Here's one problem I have in Missouri, and this has come up before, and so this is where you might be telling the truth. There was a time in Missouri where we were doing level pay, and what happened was they were misestimating it, and what happened is essentially our money was just going in a kitty. So like we had money that we couldn't use unless you're off level pay. So we got like.
Well, that's.
So that was Missouri doesn't allow you to use the money in it. So if you do it that way, you might have a problem.
Okay.
But like I got up to like $400. I'm like, this is crazy. Just kick us off level pay for a minute. And I just paid the bills with the balance until it was gone.
Right.
And went back on level pay because I like just paying the same amount every month.
Interesting.
But that only happened the one time. So
I don't know. I think level pay, most people do it so they can budget it out. So that way, all of a sudden, it's not July and randomly you got an electric bill for $240 when you're used to paying $90.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I always budget the high end. What's the most expensive electric bill I've had? Boom, there's the budget. If it's $40 less, great. If it's $10 less,
most people
great.
have to budget. Most people have to budget.
I would budget the high end.
Most people have to, budget, and it helps. But I wish I didn't care if it went up, 50% one month and the next month. I wish it didn't matter. Sure. Be nice.
It doesn't? You're not just flush like that?
I wish it just didn't matter at all. Anyway.
Either way. I told you I'd look it up. 141. That's what I pay every month, Drew. That's not bad again for like a
for an entire house. Oh yeah,
and it's got to heat 3 stories and stuff. I mean, it's not like
a lot of decks, Anyway,
Screen porch doesn't have any heat out here.
Maybe you should get an upgrade and heat it.
I would love to make that a 4 seasons room, like windows.
Let's talk about a job that
I will not do that for you.
Let's talk about a job that I guess nobody really wants in the NFL right now. A job nobody wants. That'd be the Eagles'
Hold on,
job.
there's 2 because the Cleveland Browns ain't nobody want that job either. Did you see that Jesse Minter canceled his interview there too?
Does he think he's getting another job, or
he thinks he's a strong head coaching candidate at multiple other jobs, including Baltimore, but also he doesn't want the Cleveland Browns job. So the one you were getting ready to talk about is the Eagles.
Yeah.
And they have now brought in, I think, a dozen OC candidates, and most of them are walking away from the job, not taking it. Is that bad of a job? Like, if you're an up-and-coming OC, why wouldn't you want the Eagles job? I mean, at least a little. They win. The offense works okay. Like, can you not get – I guess here's the question. Can you not get a head coaching job out of the Eagles? When's the last time an offensive coordinator left the Eagles and got a head coaching job?
Kellen Moore just did.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not that long ago.
Kellen Moore just did it last offseason. I think the issue some might have with the Eagles gig, it's a couple things. One, it's Nick Sirianni, and do you think you can work with him? The other part is if it goes south next year for Sirianni, he's probably fired, which means you're fired. So do you believe that there's job security there? And then the other part, which I don't know the answer to, you'd have to, survey other NFL offensive minds. Do they believe Jalen Hurts, without the tush push and everything, is that the quarterback they think they can win with? And you might think that's crazy because the guy's been to 2 Super Bowls and won one and played great, actually, in the postseason. But these are the questions I think people have. But for starters, to me, it's, do I think the job security is good there if Sirianni's gone in one more bad year? And then do you want to work with Nick Sirianni, who seems like a complete a-hole?
I think that a lot of it is, this goes a little bit like the Bills thing. They're more successful, so you don't notice it as much. I think Roseman and Sirianni love blaming their problems on other people. Oh, the defensive corner didn't get our guy ready. Petula didn't get come on, man. Get it together. And they love blaming people because as of right now, this would be their fifth straight year with a different OC. But in fairness, Steichen got a job out of it. Then Brian Johnson got fired. Then Kellen Moore got a job doing it for 1 year. And then Petula got fired. So you're either getting a head coaching job or you're canned.
Based on the trend, you want to be the OC next year.
You know what? And Frank Reich was the OC. And I'm sorry, this is, my God, have they had a new OC every year?
Yes.
Frank Reich, 16 to 17. Gra, 18 to 19. Then he did 2. Sorry, he did 2 years. Then Steichen for 1 year, Johnson for 1 year, Moore for 1 year, Petula for 1 year. I will say, you might get a head coaching job, but you're equally as likely to get fired.
No wonder Jalen Hurts also can't develop.
Well, that's fair. It's definitely hurt him, but I also other than Nick Sirianni, I still think the problem is, Cody, if the Eagles miss the playoffs next year, which is a possibility, I think, then Sirianni's done. And if they go to the wild card and lose a game, he might be done next year. There are people that thought he should have been fired after this year. And it's Philadelphia. We know that the media market there is a bit different. So I just, unless you love Jalen Hurts and you think, oh yeah, they just haven't unlocked him, then I think it's a little problematic.
What's a worse job? Eagles OC, Browns head coach.
Well, you always take a head coaching gig.
Sure? Browns head coach is waiting to get fired.
Unless you have other options. But let's say if Matt Nagy got offered the head coaching gig in Cleveland, I don't think he can say no.
He can't. But some other people.
That's what I'm saying.
But some other people can and have. Essentially, Minter said no thanks. Essentially, Mike McDaniel, remember, they requested him for an interview. He's like, nah, I'm fine. Like, anybody who has, aspirations, especially, it can't be your second head coaching job. Like, if you're Nagy, it sucks because if it's your second, you're never going to get a head coaching job again unless they just strike gold. And they take Tyler, and they take Ty Simpson.
There's only 32 of these jobs.
I know. They take Ty Simpson, and he's good. I agree with you. There's some people who can't turn the job down. Like, especially, Matt Nagy's actually a perfect example.
If I was Clint Kubiak, who's the hot name in Seattle right now, no, I would not. I think I can do better than that. I'll give you that. If I'm Chris Shula, the young defensive coordinator for the Rams, I can do better in a year from now if Cleveland's the only offer. Nate Shieldhouse, you're young enough. There's no reason
to go taking Cleveland's job.
I think, it definitely depends on the person. But my opinion on Syria. I just would not want to work with him. So,
do you think they're going to continue to be good? They just got so much talent. It's kind of hard to imagine.
I don't think they're going to fall off a cliff, but I don't think they're going to be, one of the top 2 or 3 teams consistently in the NFC anymore.
Yeah, but you think they're a playoff team most years, right?
I think the division is up for grabs next year. I think if everything goes well with Harbaugh in the draft, I think the Giants can be the surprise of next season.
As of yesterday, the odds said that Udinski was the favorite to get the Browns job, with Jim Schwartz being the second most likely.
Whoa, talk about retread.
If you hire Jim Schwartz, I'll just tell you now, it'll tell you how desirable that job is. if Jim Schwartz is what you land, that is the least desirable
He's
job
already in Cleveland.
in American professional sports.
He was the DC this past year, and he's done a really nice job. But he was a head coach for Detroit from 09 to 13.
Problem is, Udinski got that interview in Buffalo. I'd be begging to get that job instead of the Browns
Jim
job.
Schwartz, 59 years old, 29-51 with the Lions. Now, that was over a decade ago. People can get better and improve and all that, but yeah, that's an interesting path if that's who they go.
A lot of people on the text line just agreeing with you that Sirianni sucks.
I think he does.
You mentioned something in the earlier part when we were talking about this I think was probably accurate too, which is how sure are we that his job is safe? Like if you go be the OC for Sirianni, I know he won a Super Bowl last year and has been to 2 of the last 4, and yet we're all sitting here. None of us think that Sirianni's job is for sure safe, right? How quickly after Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl did they run his ass out of town? Was it 2 years? I think it was just 2 years.
It was a year after. Like the full, like it was a year after, wasn't it? Like he got it.
So he coached one full year, and then they got rid of him?
I think, or was it 2?
He was their head coach from 2016 to 2020.
When did they win the Super Bowl?
He won the Super Bowl. I'm looking it up. He won the
16 or 17?
Don't make me do Roman numerals. I don't want to figure that out.
I thought he won it in 16 or 17, but that could be off.
It was like 2 years. Yeah, he got
the Nick Foles thing was in 16 or 17. Anyway,
yeah. And then immediately, I mean, he didn't make it very long, man. I'll tell you that much. He got 2 years, and then he got canned. They didn't give so Sirianni, same thing. They'll run people out in Washington. It is kind of crazy.
Someone was asking, kind of what I've been. Why would you hire a defensive coach at this point in the offensive NFL? You guys know my take there. I agree with you. I wouldn't. They said, what's the last defensive head coach who won the Super Bowl besides Belichick?
Harbaugh count, or he's special teams?
He's
so
special teams, yeah.
We don't count him in either?
I don't think so. Are we missing somebody? Seattle, Pete Carroll, right? He's defensive, more on defense side, or is he offense? Why am I
he was an offensive
He's
guy.
offense, right? He's offense, right? I don't know why I'm forgetting about Pete Carroll. Is he the next answer then?
Let me see.
Pete Carroll was defense. Yeah. Pete Carroll was defense. So
he was.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
He was a defensive coordinator.
I think it's because he ran such good offenses at USC.
So to answer the question, then Pete Carroll. Other than Belichick, it's Pete Carroll back with the Seahawks.
That's quite a few of the Super Bowls here recently, unfortunately, because Bill Belichick had so many of them. So let's see, winners by year. Yeah, I'm just looking. McVay,
but that
offense. Reed,
that was over a decade ago.
Sirianni, was he? Is he nothing? Is he offense?
Leans towards offense.
Reed, McVay, Belichick. Yeah, then after that, I would say in the last 10 years, it's pretty much all, since Belichick was gone, it's pretty much been all offensive-minded guys. Pete Carroll, Harbaugh, some of these like gritty, tough, whatever, those coaches.
Yeah,
those were winning it in the early 2000s, but that has not been the recent trend.
Yeah, someone says Mike McDonald is defense. Yeah, but they haven't won the Super Bowl yet. Yeah, they haven't won the Super Bowl yet. The question was about, yes, if Seattle wins the Super Bowl, then that's the new answer.
But Peyton's an offensive-minded head coach. McVay's an offensive-minded head coach. And
Vrabel's defense, though.
Vrabel is a defensive-minded head coach.
Defense. So it could change this year, but someone was asking him the last one since Belichick, and that was it. Yeah, Mike Tomlin did, but that was, again, in 2011? Whatever the Mike Tomlin won or whatever.
From 2000 to 2010 or 15, there were plenty of them. Because of Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick.
But that's what I think the texter's
saying. The last 10 years, it's been a lot of
is the league has shifted. It goes back to the running back conversation. Just because something was the way it was 5 years ago in the league does not mean we should treat running back the same way now as what we did 5 years ago. And the way you win in the NFL now might be different than it was 5 years ago. And the way it will be 5 years from now might be different.
Yeah, I just think, yes, it very well might be. And there might be this like retread trend into it. But yes, generally speaking, it has just not been a huge, it has not been common here lately. And yeah, people mentioning like Tomlin. It's not like there's been none, but 10 years is way too long to cite anything for me. And like, I borderline think saying what was going on in the NFL 5 years ago is too old. The league changes that fast. Tell me things that are happening in the last 5 years is all I care about. Because if it's outside of that window, the league changed a lot, maybe twice. And so like, I'm not interested in who won a Super Bowl in 2007. That was when like the Rams had Kurt Warner. I mean, that's so long. Plaxico Burress might have been catching a ball in 2000s. That's way too long ago for me to care, I guess, what was happening in the league.
But see, like, now people are listing off like guys that almost won. Well, that's just not the name of the game. I mean, like, you got to complete the test. So it says if D'Amico Ryans had a better quarterback, they'd be a Super Bowl favorite. Sure, but
defensive coaches can be successful.
But they don't. Like, I mean, we can play that game with so many different coaches that almost won.
Maybe in Cleveland you want a defensive-minded head coach because you're like, you know what? Let's just be great at the one thing we're great at. What we're great at is Myles Garrett is a monster, and we're gonna no offensive coach we bring in is gonna unlock Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. So that ain't it. Now, unless they take Ty Simpson, he's just awesome.
Yeah, in fact, I would argue like DeMeco Ryan been an unbelievable head coach for the Texans. That defense, he's in charge of it, and he's technically not in charge of it. He's got a defensive coordinator that calls the plays, but you get the point. I would actually argue the Texans, while it might be perceived as like the best example of why a defensive head coach could win, I would argue that's the exact problem. You know what? Not only is CJ Stroud a problem, they've had multiple OCs, and the OCs stink for them. They haven't found a good offensive coordinator in Houston.
So Stroud's gotten worse.
I would argue that that's actually the prime example of why it's a problem not to have an offensive-minded head coach.
You need a guy who can make these guys better. And look, you brought this up. 7 OCs in 7 years for Jalen Hurts. Do I think that that's hurting him? Yeah, probably. I've also mentioned that with Justin Herbert. Alex Smith mentioned that in his career. Baker Mayfield has been going through that. These quarterbacks who seemingly hit a wall, it does seem to be that there's a consistency in they constantly change the person who's around them offensively. The other reason why I mentioned all the names to you just now is some of those guys also had the detriment of being a defensive-minded head coach. So they didn't even get to keep the scheme. Like Patrick Mahomes has technically had 3 different OCs. In his time. He's only been in the league 7 years, right? So he's changed OCs a couple times.
But
he said Doug Peterson, Matt Nagy,
fundamentally
Eric
the
Bieniemy,
offense is the same.
The offense is the same. So while he changes OCs, the system around him stays similar. DeMeco Ryans, every time he changes OCs, guess what? CJ Stroud has to learn a new offense, learn a new system. And I know it's not a full new offense. They do still run DeMeco's offense-ish. But they take way more ideas out of the new OC than they would if he was an